Exciting times for Portsmouth. They've swept to the top of the third division and the fans are turning out in their thousands to cheer them towards promotion. Good evening to you. Welcome to the Saturday match. Yes, tonight we feature Portsmouth and their match at Bournemouth. Pompey seeking 7 wins in a row. Also tonight, action from the top of Division 1 and the top of Division 2. From Old Trafford, Manchester United against Liverpool. 57,000 fans packed in to see England's top 2 teams. And from Filbert Street, with the goals from Leicester against the second division leaders, Wolves. George Best is with us as well to add his own particular brand of comment. And I'll be telling you about the latest in Brighton's attempts to sign Peter Ward to help them in their bid to reach Wembley. But on now with the action from Dean Court, Bournemouth. Some 9,000 Portsmouth fans made the trip, swelling the gate to 13,500 and giving Bournemouth record receipts in the league. Your match commentator now, Gerald Sinstead.
And there couldn't be a better atmosphere for a new signing to appear in Bournemouth colours today. John Beck, who arrived 2 days ago on a free transfer from Fulham. John's not a total newcomer. He's already scored once for Bournemouth this season when he was here on loan in the autumn. And that's the only change that manager Harry Redknapp makes from the lineup that drew at Cardiff last Saturday. So there's another chance for Milton Graham to show the form that has made him leading scorer in the reserves. As for Portsmouth, Ernie Howe is still missing. He was kicked on the kneecap last Saturday, so Andy Rollins stepped in for Tuesday night's game against Huddersfield, and he keeps his place in an unchanged side. Leading scorer Alan Bailey needs 1 goal to reach the 20 mark, and he's fancying it today to celebrate his 26th birthday. Today's referee from Hounslow in Middlesex, Mr. Colin Downey. So plenty at stake then as Bournemouth kick off, attacking the goal to our right. Not least as far as Portsmouth are concerned, to avenge a 2-0 defeat at Fratton Park in October. Grey afternoon, bit of drizzle on the breeze, pitch soft, and a marvellous atmosphere for this third division game. Last time Portsmouth played a league game here in October 1979, the attendance was just under 14,000, and I won't be far off that today. Alan Bailey only once before played a league game on his birthday. That was when he was 20, and he played it here for Cambridge United when they were top of the 4th division. Knight, who's been playing so well for Portsmouth. There's Bricknell's header, now it's Webb. Hazelwood's attempted clearance, rebounds off for Graham. Morgan going into the middle, Graham going on and over, and it's a corner kick. Milton Graham. Now he comes from Tottenham. Now we've got the 2 central defenders forward, Brignell Impey, numbers 5 and 6. The head was by Impey, out by Hazelwood. And that's a useful ball too for Rogers. Riley was coming in on the cross, and there was not much option for Spackman but to put it out for the corner, and that's roused the Portsmouth fans behind that goal. Almost like a home game for Portsmouth, this. The chimes ring out as Rogers places the ball for the corner. Rollins jumping, it's come right through, turned back by Rafferty. Webb on the volley, way over the top. Neil Webb, who scored 2 important goals against Huddersfield on Tuesday night. Graham, then Spackman, and now Daughtry. That's nicely done too. Chased through by Beck. Knight right at the edge of his area. Daughtry, Heffernan, Beck, Graham. Careful ball for Morgan, and Morgan shot! And Knight changed direction at the last second. It was not a bad build-up by Bournemouth, and they're making all the early running. Graham curls a very careful ball here to Morgan, and it's hit first time. The goalkeeper only just got it. Portsmouth are going to make their substitution. Andy Rollins still hasn't recovered from that early knock that he took, and Peter Ellis will take over from him. It'll be just a straight swap. Ellis quite accustomed to playing off the centre half. So Hazelwood and Ellis will be the partnership in the middle of defence. And now Rodgers goes over a foot, and that is a penalty. Heffernan's outstretched foot. Rodgers goes over. Well, there really can't be much doubt about that. So the Portsmouth penalty saga goes on. They really have had an extraordinary number of them this season. They went through that terrible period when they missed penalty after penalty, but eventually the responsibility devolved on Steve Hazelwood, and he has actually scored 4 times from the spot. And now 5. Well, you wonder why penalty taking seemed difficult for so long for Portsmouth, when Hazelwood puts them away as easily as this. Lee makes a guess and guesses wrong. Celebrations for the lads from Fratton Park. Bournemouth 0, Portsmouth 1. Spackman, Heffernan. Just about 28 minutes gone now. Was already a fiercely contested game, given just the extra spice it needed. Foul by Rodgers on Daughtry. Beck. Daughtry. Coughlin then. Biley didn't get it away, and that was Sully's shot. And it was a beauty too. Chris Sully, still looking for his first goal for Bournemouth, came very close to getting it then. He really hammered that, and Knight did well to beat it down and smother it. 1-0 down. Bournemouth are not giving this game up. Offside. Doyle setting himself for this. Morgan jumped highest of all. Graham, Sully, Spackman bursting through the middle. A header for Nightingale, and Sullivan very solid with the clearance, but it's only gone as far as Beck. Beck shot, and Knight must have seen it late, because he certainly went late, took it almost as it went past him. Shot probably came through a forest of players, and Knight had to have 2 goes at it. Sullivan. Rickmall for Bournemouth. Graham. On very neatly for Beck. Inside for Morgan. Can he get to it? Very good save by Knight. And into the crowd for a corner kick. But that was very close. And it called for yet another good save by Alan Knight. Morgan recovering. And Knight making such a good quick save. Alan Knight has kept 4 clean sheets in the last 6 games. And you can see the form that's done it. All away by Hazelwood. Now it's Webb. On for Byron. Webb again. Good ball. Rogers. Possibilities here on the break. Back in again by Rogers, but that's a disappointing ball. Bournemouth drawn forward for the corner kick, and when it was won by Portsmouth, they did well on the break. The final ball in from Rogers really didn't set up anything at all. We're about 4 minutes from half-time. It's starting to rain a bit steadily. And I don't think that will dampen the enthusiasm. Certainly not of this large crowd that has followed the 3rd Division leaders from Portsmouth. Or indeed of the Bournemouth fans who've, I would think, been very encouraged by their team's display. On the run of play, they must consider themselves somewhat unfortunate to be a goal down at this stage. Heffernan. Doyle. Rogers. And that's another penalty. Oh! Well, that's an extraordinary decision. Penalties, in the end, are down to opinion. And the referee's opinion is the one that counts. If it had been me giving the decision, I reckon I'd have given it. And I don't think I'd have been wrong. And the referee sends them in at that point. Teams separated by Steve Hazelwood's penalty goal for Portsmouth. Portsmouth themselves will feel, I suspect, somewhat hard done by that they weren't given another chance for Hazelwood to have a go from the spot. That would have sent them in leading by 2 goals to 0. Bournemouth, for their part, I think, will feel that they are somewhat unlucky not to have put at least one past Alan Knight. But credit to the Portsmouth goalkeeper for the form that he's shown. Good first half, 1-0 to Portsmouth. It's not all fun having a house next door to a football ground. Somebody's greenhouse suffering from a ball that was cleared with a touch too much enthusiasm. The average league gate at Dean Court this season, just over 5,000, but the attendance this afternoon will have pushed that up quite substantially. Portsmouth then begin the second half. They're in the white shorts, and they lead by 1 goal to 0. Sullivan. Hazelwood back tonight. Floodlights on, rain falling. Cool grey February afternoon. Doyle to Tate. Rogers. Headed by Spackman. Tate. Rogers with a bit of room on that far touchline now, and his cross is deflected by Brignall for a corner. Rogers himself will take it, trotting through the picture there with the 2 central defenders, Ellis and Hazelwood. And Rogers playing it short for Sullivan. Hazelwood was there but didn't make contact. And Graham hooked the ball away, only as far as Southern. Header by Heffernan. Webb collects. Graham tackles. McLaughlin forward. Heffernan. Straight to Rogers. Rafferty tried to set it up for Rogers, but the 1-2 wasn't precise enough. Hazelwood down and not yet back on his feet. It's a bit worrying for Portsmouth, that is. Ellis clears, but straight to Heffernan. And Rogers will put it out so that Portsmouth can have a look at Steve Hazelwood. Now, that could be a real problem, because they're without Ernie Howe, who's missed this and last Tuesday's game because of a kick on the kneecap last Saturday. Andy Rollins has already gone off with an injured shoulder. And Bobby Campbell, the Portsmouth manager, watching this incident with a good deal of concern. Hazelwood looking very much the worse for wear. Not got a broken nose there. Spackman for Bournemouth. Made himself some room. He's got support from Daughtry. He's played the cross. Clearance well collected by Heffernan, then Sully. It's do or die stuff on the edge of that area. Spackman got the shot in, and just past the upright from Heffernan. Close to his 9th goal of the season, Tom Heffernan. Portsmouth hadn't been able to get it away from the edge of their penalty area. And Bournemouth hadn't been able to get a clear side of goal for a shot until eventually it was cleared here to Heffernan, and he was close. Wiley for Rogers, good pass. Rogers to attack Heffernan, and cross for Hazelwood, and that could be an own goal. Cleared by Nightingale after a complete misunderstanding between Impey and Lee. Goalkeeper came and presumably didn't call. Eye on the ball, came off the back of Impey's head, and Nightingale got it out for the corner. Wiley's header, goal kick. Heffernan. And now a substitution by Bournemouth. Mark Nightingale giving way to Trevor Lee. Signed by Bournemouth in November from Gillingham. Only a couple of years since Lee was Gillingham's record signing at £90,000. Now it's Rafferty against Impey. McLaughlin coming to support him. Webb, tracked by Sully. He's gone past him. And past another. And the shot just past the post. It was a lovely bit of work by Neil Webb. This 19-year-old who's been growing up this season, really showed some lovely skill here. Takes himself first past Sully and gets into the penalty area. And this is an even better one that takes him past Impey. And the shot just past the post. Ellis. Hazelwood. Rogers cross, and the goalkeeper has smothered it and couldn't hold it, and Sully has put it out for a corner. How many times have we seen incidents like that in this game? Good cross from Rogers. Lee goes for it. Only got palms to the ball, and Sully saved the day. But at the expense of a corner. Ball a bit greasy with the rain that's fallen in this second half. Rogers now swinging it in, and in goes the goal. Alan Bailey celebrates his birthday with his 20th goal of the season to put Portsmouth 2-0 in front. Opportunist bit of finishing, just the thing that Bailey is good at. The face of determination there, Steve Hazelwood, as the corner came over. Ellis, I think it was, got a head to it, and then Bailey the finishing touch. So now the Portsmouth fans can relax and celebrate. Well, they've had a happy day, and they'll enjoy the journey back to Portsmouth, and so will they. They'll be on the trail now to the end of the season. Rafferty, Rogers, and Rogers goes on. Bailey is arriving. Rogers has held it up. Hazelwood, and turned over by Lee. Good play there by Rogers, who burst past his man, got to the goal line, and found that it was going to be a while before the support arrived, but he held it up well. Hazelwood came in and called out a good save from Ian Lee. Second Pompey goal came from a corner. Sullivan, Doyle, Rogers. I hope that's not our cable. Pictures coming through at the moment, but I just wonder whose it is. Final whistle goes. Alan Bailey raises his hands. The Portsmouth fans applaud their team off. Alan Bailey, a goal scorer on his birthday. Steve Hazelwood from the penalty spot, the other one. And that's 7 victories in a row by Portsmouth now. 4 of them away from home, and that's real promotion form. Neil Webb chaired off, Alan Bailey too. So it's been a good afternoon in the local derby for the fans who've come along the coast from Portsmouth. They've seen their side beat a gallant Bournemouth, who made a good contribution themselves, played well, but ended defeated. Bournemouth 0, Portsmouth 2.
Yes, another great day for Portsmouth, and that run of 7 straight wins in the league is a post-war record. There is a casualty list, though. Andy Rollings has got to have an X-ray on an injured shoulder. Billy Rafferty has a groin injury, and Steve Hazelwood has broken his nose. It was quite a day for Hazelwood, wasn't it? The penalty goal, then that injury, and he almost scored again after being sent to roam around up front. Gerald Sinstadt spoke with him.
Steve, I wonder how much you remember about that second half.
Later on it wasn't too bad, but after I got the whack in the nose, I didn't know where I was really for about 10 minutes. But the lads did great at the back, that was good spirit. That's what's been keeping us going, the spirit in the side.
You just went for a header and it was a clash, wasn't it?
Yeah, I headed the ball quite well, and as I followed through, the lad came back, and it was purely accidental, but it's just the follow through in my head really that bust my nose.
Hasn't made you look any prettier.
Well, that takes some doing anyway, doesn't it, really? But it's just one of those things. I've broken my nose quite a few times, but this one feels, quite bad.
It was quite a performance, considering you had then a complete reorganisation at the back, having already lost Andy Rollins.
Yeah, Andy might have broke, it's a bit dodgy with his shoulder. I think he thinks he might have broke his shoulder. But Peter Ellis is a central defender anyway, so he came in, done a good job. But then when I had to move up, the lads did great.
But Mickey Tate quite enjoys dropping back into that role, doesn't he?
Yeah, Tate plays well there, He's played a lot of games there, actually.
And you might actually have had a goal or two in that second half.
I could have got a couple at the end, yeah. The keeper tipped one away, took a bit straight at him, then the header as well. But towards the end, I enjoyed it a little bit,
And penalties have played a very important role for Portsmouth this season. There was that terrible period when nobody could score. How did you get the job?
Well, I think there was nobody else left. It was either me or Bobby Campbell, I think, so I just said I'd take him. And up until Tuesday night, I hadn't missed one.
In fact, the goalkeeper almost outguessed you, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the side that the goalkeeper saved it the other night. That's the way I always put them. I scored them all there. But as I went to take it, the keeper committed himself a little bit early, so I just knocked it straight.
Touch of the Phil Neals.
Well, that's exactly. I watched him on the telly the other night, and that's what he did. He usually puts them that side, and he's seen the goalkeeper go early. And I was practicing in training yesterday against Alan Knight, just doing that.
Good enough for him is good enough for you.
Well, that's what I mean. I just knocked it straight. If he goes early like that, it's in. That's the main thing.
So what's the feeling about promotion now?
Well, obviously the lads must think we got a great chance. We've won 7 games in a row, and you can't ask for any more than that. I think it's a club record or something. But
4 of them away from home.
4 away from home, yeah. And at times you haven't played great football, but everybody's battling and there's a great spirit, and that's what's been getting us results.
And what do you do about the nose now?
Well, I just got to wait to see on Monday how bad it is. If it needs setting, then I'll probably have to get it set on Monday. I don't know. It feels quite bad, actually.
But be on parade for the next match?
Well, Tuesday night, yeah. And if it's not that bad, if I don't need to get it set, I'll be playing Tuesday, yeah.
Well done, Steve. Great performance.
Thanks a lot.
And a great character, Steve Hazelwood, looking as though he'd just gone a couple of rounds with Marvin Hagler. But George Best, he's an inspirational sort of character, and really every team needs a battler like that, don't they?
You do. I mean, I remember the days when I was early on at Manchester United. We had 2 players, the same sort of type, in Maurice Sitters and Nobby Stiles, who were always, they were challenging each other for a place. And I myself always felt disappointed if either one of them weren't playing, because they really were. I remember Maurice Sitters getting some terrible injuries, where I think some players today might have been out for 2 or 3 months. He used to come back within a week, and play with injuries that were unbelievable.
Now, you're an honest sort of chap, George. You upset a few Brighton fans with your comments about their team last week. I wonder if you're going to upset the Pompey fans tonight. How good is this team?
I think there's certainties. I mean,
for promotion?
Yeah, I think there's certainties to come up. They play some great one-touch football, which is terrific. And I'm a big fan. I played under Bobby Campbell at Fulham, and I've got great admiration for him, not only as a coach, but as a person, as a man. And I think he's tremendous at motivating players. And I think that was maybe just an example of it. The lad there said he enjoyed it. He's playing with a broken nose, his 2 black eyes. He still looked a little bit glazed, but he said he enjoyed it at the end of it. And I think Bobby Campbell does that to players. He motivates them and he makes them want to play.
He handles players well, because at Fulham he had 1 or 2 tricky characters there, didn't he?
Well, at the time, when I first came back from America, there was myself and Rodney Marsh and Bobby Moore in the same team.
Bit of a handful for anyone, really.
Well, you would think so, yeah. But for a long time it worked. We looked, we were challenging. We were 3rd or 4th in the league. And I think if it hadn't been for the financial situation at Fulham at the time, I think we might have done really well under him. Yeah. So
Pompey then for promotion. A quick word on Bournemouth. I mean, they are struggling a bit, but to be fair, they don't look a bad side, do they?
They didn't play all that badly, but Pompey looked a little bit special, I thought, for a 3rd division side.
George, we'll talk again a little bit later. So then, Portsmouth winners by 2-0 at Bournemouth today. Let's now take a check on the top of Division 3. Portsmouth really do look in a strong position now, as George says. 64 points from 31 games. Cardiff, well, they won as well today, 3-2 at Gillingham, with former Pompey player Jeff Hemmerman scoring 2 of their goals. Johnson and Lansdowne scored for the Gills. Poor old Lincoln lost at home again, 2-1 to Plymouth. Huddersfield drew with Preston, and Bristol Rovers won 5-0 at Wigan to make up some ground. Wigan, by the way, Portsmouth's next opponents at Fratton Park on Tuesday night. Reading and Southend drew 1-1, and in the 4th Division, Aldershot lost 2-1 at Stockport. Well, still to come tonight, Manchester United against Liverpool and Leicester against Wolves. Lots of goals coming up in just a couple of minutes. And welcome back to you. Still to come tonight, Manchester United against Liverpool, but first to Filbert Street and the second division promotion battle, Leicester against Wolves. Leicester fourth before this game, Wolves on top and 14 points separating them. Peter Brackley now describes the goals.
Now Smith looking to turn. Dodd, good ball through to Lynex. Lovely goal from Steve Lynex, who really thundered that one past John Burridge at the near post. Alan Smith turning Dodd. And what a glorious ball through then to Lynex. And Burridge, the near post, stood no chance. Goes Alan Smith. Lineker, came off Dodd. Only half cleared. Oh, what a goal from Alan Smith! What a goal that was! It was a scramble, really. And then with 28 minutes of the first half gone, it falls for Alan Smith. And what a drive that was. 1-1 for Smith and Lineker now. Wilson, cross in for Smith. Lynex! Poor John Burridge couldn't keep it out. Again, Lineker heavily involved in the goal, but overlapping by Wilson, who does well to get in the cross. Just evading the tackle. Smith's effort, brilliantly saved by Burridge. In then goes Lynex, diving bravely, and he was caught there by the foot of Jeff Palmer. Daly, intelligent pass to Bobby Smith. Now Lynex picking up a splendid pass then from Bobby Smith. Still Lynex. Lineker. It's gone in off the post. It was a marvellous pass from Smith that found Lynex. And just look at his confidence. Cutting inside. I don't think Lineker really got hold of it, but it just crept in off a post. Lineker again prepared to take on Dodd. Beaten him too. Daly! Magnificent finish by Jerry Daly. Lineker again setting it up. Taking on and beating Alan Dodd. Pulling the ball back. And Daly, without a second thought, smacked right into the corner.
Well, some really slapdash defensive work by the Wolves there, but a remarkable 5-0 win for Leicester, and one that really improves their chances of promotion. They're still fourth, but they've closed the gap a bit on the teams above them. Wolves still lead, Queen's Park Rangers stay second on goal difference, and Fulham are third. Both Queen's Park Rangers and Fulham drew today. Well, those teams battling, of course, to get into the first division, and one of the teams they replace could well, sadly, be Brighton.
Threatening the coast on the south coast recently, and it's from that area that Alan Parry reports on another success.
The sight and sound of packed terraces, the excited atmosphere that you'd expect on FA Cup Day. Over 20,000 fans have come to watch two clubs with a permanent place in Cup history. But surprisingly, this is not an FA Cup tie. This is Fratton Park, the home of Portsmouth, and this big crowd have come to watch a match in the third division. It's Portsmouth against Cardiff City, the leaders against the team just below them. Truly, the big times are back at Fratton Park. Portsmouth, of course, are no strangers to success. The first division table for season 1949-50 shows them as champions for the second season in succession. But 30 years later, the celebrations were rather muted, as Pompey clawed their way out of Division 4 on goal difference. They've known good times and bad, and the FA Cup provides one of their proudest boasts. Pompey won the trophy in 1939, and because of the war years, they held it longer than any other club in history.
Sit down, sir. Pompey's just going to score again. And Parker does, with his head. Pompey could have gone on scoring all night like this, but the whistle goes for time, with the result Portsmouth 4, Wolves 1.
Cardiff, too, hold an FA Cup distinction. They're the only club ever to have taken the trophy out of England, with their historic win against Arsenal in 1927. It's been a long time since Cardiff and Portsmouth were numbered among Britain's leading teams. And indeed, in season 1976-77, Portsmouth almost folded due to a financial crisis, which has sadly become commonplace today, but in those times made headline news. The man who steered Pompey through those troubled times is Chairman John Deacon. Well, Mr. Deacon, I suppose in view of the many hard times you've had here, that a season like this and a day like this must be all the more enjoyable for you.
Oh yes, this is what you really hope for and work for, and hopefully you get it, and today we hope we shall have a good crowd and a good result.
But there have been many hard times for you here, haven't there?
Yes, it's been difficult. Basically, the club is a first division setup and has been in the first division. Thinking of the fans is, of course, that we ought to be in the first division, this sort of thing. It's been difficult to work our way up back from the fourth division where we went ultimately, but step by step we're now climbing up the ladder, and hopefully we shall get into the second division at the end of this season.
And I think there were one or two cynics when you took over here who looked at the fact that you were in business in the building trade and thought perhaps your motives weren't entirely sincere.
Yes, I'm a house builder, and I suppose it's natural when there's a beautiful field like this that the first thing I was going to do is to build some houses on it, which of course was totally wrong.
You were accused of that, in fact?
Oh, I was accused of that, yes. I was at a match at Aldershot, and one of the fans jokingly asked me if we were going to build some houses on it, and I jokingly replied that the first one we built, I'd give it to him. Of course, the intention is not that at all. My interest is in football, always has been. I was a player, a referee, and now managing this club as a director and chairman, and football has been my life, and I love it.
It's been reported that you plough as much as £5,000 a week of your own money into Portsmouth Football Club. Is that close to being an accurate figure?
That's not very far out. I would say we have a group of companies of which Portsmouth Football Club is one, and if one of the companies makes a profit, well, it offsets the loss of the other, this sort of thing, and that's why we're able to bring the football club under the umbrella of the holding company.
Portsmouth is a family club. David, John's son, is a director, and Mrs. Joan Deacon has also joined the board and the crowd for today's game. Portsmouth in blue then with an early corner across the face of goal, take back in, and there goes Rafferty, and Portsmouth so close to an early goal. Billy Rafferty with the header and the applause. Free kick then by Rogers, looks good, and in comes Rafferty, and what a marvellous save by Steele. Well, Eric Steele on loan, playing his first game for Cardiff City. What a marvellous save as Rafferty climbs so well. And this is Sullivan for Portsmouth. Dwyer with the clearance. Tate. And Webb. Nice link-up. Tate again. And another fine save by Steele. Dwyer's free kick looks good. Hemmerman taking it, and a fine save by Knight. Well, Alan Knight, who's kept several clean sheets recently, had to be at his best then as the free kick was driven in, taken so well by Hemmerman with a turn and a shot which produced this fine save. Sullivan turning it forward, and here's Rafferty in the clear. Tate coming onto it, but Mullen on his own goal line with a clearance. Bennett now for Cardiff. Gibbons sweeping it out to Tongue on the right. Looks a good build-up this. Hemmerman with the turn, and it comes to Hatton, and Knight saves it, and again Portsmouth get it away. Well, Bob Hatton with a great opportunity to clinch the game as he found himself in the clear, but now both managers will have to settle for a point. It's strange to find you two at the top of the third division together because, well, your relationship goes back a long way, doesn't it? Where did you first meet?
Well, we were on the ground staff together at Anfield, and Bobby told me that my legs were too thin for me ever to be a footballer, you see. And of course, we've always been pals since then. We went our separate ways. I think Bobby came here as a player. I went up to Sunderland, and here we are, 20-odd years later, as managers.
We were on the ground staff, and Len has got a funny bone in his knee. And one of the coaches there, or that Liverpool decided that Len, you know, his career was a bit dodgy. So Len left us and went to Sunderland, and he played 900 matches for Sunderland.
Do you think the next time the pair of you meet, it'll be in the second division?
I hope so.
happy story there. Portsmouth on top of the world and Cardiff not far.
But it's a bright... George Best is back in league football. At the age of 36, the man who's one of the all-time greats makes his comeback at Bournemouth. Well, I'm delighted to say George is still in one piece, and he joins us here on the Saturday match tonight. George, welcome. I know you lost 1-0 to Newport County, but did you enjoy it?
No. No, I did. It was tremendous. You know, I've always said the first one was going to be the tough one, and you know, it's out of the way now. We were a little bit unfortunate. I'm just looking forward to next week.
All right,
tremendous.
We shall talk later, and we shall have a special film of George's big day a little later on. But our action tonight comes from 3 divisions. We join another bumper crowd at Fratton Park for Portsmouth's 3rd Division promotion clash against Bristol Rovers. Then we've the goals from Southampton's game at Nottingham Forest, 2 sides very much in the running for Europe, and then Fulham against Grimsby from the top of the 2nd Division, and that's a really exciting game. We shall also be meeting the Milk Cup winners, Liverpool. But we start with Portsmouth against Bristol Rovers. Almost 18,000 fans turned out, and it was vital because Pompey hadn't won for 4 games. But there were some new faces to see, so let's now join our commentator, Gerald Sinstad.
It's a remarkable occasion when a 3rd Division club pays the highest fee in the season's transfer deadline day. But Portsmouth did just that when Kevin Dillon moved from Birmingham City this week for £200,000. Hardly less remarkable is that opposing him today in Bristol Rovers midfield is Alan Ball, who once became Britain's most expensive footballer when he was involved in a transfer for £113,000. A check on the sides, well, Portsmouth had no problem in finding a place for Kevin Dillon. He replaces Bob Doyle, who's suspended and misses a match for the first time for a year. Pompey give Billy Rafferty a much-needed chance to rest a groin injury. His place goes to another new signing, Nicky Morgan, who's been playing 1st Division football lately for West Ham. He cost £50,000. No plungers in the transfer market, though, for Bristol Rovers. Manager Bobby Gould operates on a very tight budget. 4 of his side, Sherwood, Withy, Platnar and the substitute Stevens, came from non-league soccer, and the most expensive was Withy, who cost £5,000. And it's the division's leaders, Portsmouth, who kick off against Bristol Rovers, who are 6th. Plenty at stake, not least the memory of a wet November afternoon at Eastfield this season when Bristol Rovers beat Portsmouth 5-1. But now here's the first chance for Dillon to shine, snuffed out on the edge of the area. Dillon operating in the centre of midfield. At Birmingham, he was often asked to play wide, but I think he'll enjoy it much more in the role that he's being given by Portsmouth. Phil Kite looking for Platnar, but too long. Ball robbed by Morgan. Morgan in bustling again, and Dillon, the 2 new men. It's Morgan who takes the ball. And now Sullivan. Rogers challenges and wins. Field for offside against Biley, and that's given. Alan Biley with 20 goals to his credit, as indeed has Paul Randall on the Bristol Rovers side. Fine atmosphere and another packed crowd at Fratton Park. Dillon. Very long from Parkin, and a catch for Alan Knight. Laughlin. Parkin's header. Withy. Played forward by Ball for Platnar. And Randall shot. And cleared off the line by Sullivan from Geraint Williams. Platnar, who played the ball wide, then in from Randall, and Geraint Williams not too hard, and a chance for Sullivan to clear off the line. Resulting corner to be taken by Paul Randall. Tim Parkin coming off the near post, went for the glancing back header. Ball's passed to Randall, Randall's cross and headed away by Aisleywood. Morgan, Webb. Referee's called them back for a free kick to Portsmouth. Referee today comes from Torquay, Mr. Lester Shapton. Sullivan. Rogers. Didn't quite fall. Brought away by Geraint Williams. Nobody there for Bristol Rovers. Sullivan there for Portsmouth. Tate has made a run. Has been seen, not quite found. Morgan. Dillon. Now Tate. And Dillon again. Goal kick. Good build-up by Portsmouth, but both sides having difficulty finding enough time to get a shot on target. Dillon and then back to him by Tate. Dillon's first time shot snatched at, pulled wide. Batnar. Fouled. Dillon was the offender. Ball. Randall against Sullivan. It's a nice turn. And that's a good shot and good save. Paul Randall showing the real striker's touch with a very good effort. And a fine save coming too from Alan Knight. That now to take the corner. And a header from Withy, who got a knock in the face at the same time. Ball carries through to McLaughlin and up to Rogers. Brian Williams. Geraint Williams. Chance for Bristol Rovers to apply some sustained pressure. Ball. Foul by Platnar and relief for Portsmouth with a free kick. Caffrey beaten in the air by Biley. Morgan. Webb. Biley going to the far post. Webb finding support from McLaughlin. Played into Morgan. Challenge. Parkin. Morgan again. Webb. Parkin once more. Webb. Biley. And Biley's shot just crept past the far post. Kite didn't get a touch. Biley was close and he knew it. About as close as Portsmouth have been. Webb involved in the build-up. Ball killed with the outside of the foot by Biley and the shot just passed. Dillon. Webb. Good cross to the near post and a brave header by Biley. Came into the corner and the referee responds. Outswinger this time and the header is in. Biley got the last touch. I think it was probably simply, it was certainly put over the line in the end by Bailey, who's injured. Tate, no doubt, will claim a very positive assist, but it's certainly the opening goal of the game. Bailey still flat out in that goal mouth. Change of tactics here with an outswinging corner for the first time taken by McLaughlin. Tate's header was a good one, and I suspect it wasn't in until Bailey got his header and was kicked at the same time. Accidental kick, an attempt by the defender to clear the ball off the line. Bailey's got a really nasty knock beside the eye there. He's still in a very unhappy state, very badly dazed. That's substitute Peter Ellis helping him to his feet. And he's got a nasty cut somewhere around the eye. I've no doubt that Portsmouth will play on with 10 men until half-time, because there are only a couple of minutes to go to the interval. And manager Bobby Campbell will want to see whether he can get Bailey patched up and back on for the second half. But it's now just coming up to half-time, 1-0 to Portsmouth, with Bobby Campbell, the manager, over having a look at the casualty. Just underneath the eye, which is very puffy. He's going to have a real black eye there in the morning. Clash between Morgan and Parkin. The referee gives Portsmouth the free kick. And Bailey now wants to come back on. Ready for the fray again. Free kick was taken too soon, but Alan Bailey, with that swollen and bloodshot patch under his eye, still game to keep going. His 21st goal of the season under his belt, Portsmouth leading. Rollings. Into time added on at the end of the first half. Geraint Williams. Sullivan. Ryan Williams header. Bailey challenging. Then Dillon. Offside, Rogers. Well, the crowd have made a major contribution to this big occasion at the top of the third division, and the atmosphere really charged now. Pulis. Platnar, Geraint Williams, Ryan Williams outside, McLaughlin for Portsmouth. Ball, McCaffrey, Geraint Williams, Brian Williams. Sullivan. And half-time it is. So they go in with Portsmouth holding a precious lead, thanks to the courage of Alan Bailey, who bears the scars that pay testimony to the goal that separates the sides at half-time. Still a lot of battling to be done in this game, but as they go in, it's Portsmouth 1, Bristol Rovers 0. No retreat, no surrender is the message from Alan Bailey, back on the field for the start of the second half, which Bristol Rovers begin attacking the goal to our right. Randall's header. Alan Knight, who's in tremendous form, 8 clean sheets in the last 11 games. Withy, Cut out by Webb. Tate. Feeling for offside, but it's not given, and Rodgers is through and allowed Sherwood to get back at him. And that was costly, because Rodgers had got goal side of the Bristol Rovers defence and should really have made more of that. He has a corner. Punch by Kite. Dillon flicks it out again to Rodgers. Good cross. I think the goalkeeper may just have got a touch. Pulis. Fouled by Webb. Tony Pulis, coach to the Rovers youth team these days. Take the throw-in for Bristol Rovers, but first there'll be a substitution. Tony Pulis coming off and Archie Stevens taking his place. Stevens, another of Bobby Gould's recruits from non-league football. Pulis comes off and Archie Stevens takes his place. Withy. All-time tackle. Rollins. Now the long throw from Randall. Geraint Williams, good shot, it hit Rollins. Parkin came in on it, but Dillon cleared. Now McCaffrey. Ball. Pressure from Bristol Rovers. Platnar. Brian Williams. And Alan Knight, a good catch. And Rodgers is in the clear here. Bailey going in too. And the goalkeeper saves with his legs, back in. Webb with a header and Sherwood out for the corner. Rodgers given one to chase there. And when he pulled it across, the goalkeeper just got his legs in the way, then it bounced back in. Webb went up. Don't think he made contact, but Sherwood was taking no chances. Dillon, chance to shoot, and he hit it hard and accurately. Another chance maybe. Denied it that time by Sherwood. Rodgers an opportunity to cross. He has ball to beat and has done so. Pushed it too far and missed the chance for a cross from the goal line. Another excellent gate at Fratton Park. The crowds really mounting up here. 18,000, 16,000, 24,000 the last three home games. Stevens. Back heel. Williams. Brian Williams showing his old winger's instincts, coming in on the back heel and getting to the line. On a corner. Paul Randall is going to take it. On the near post, number 5, Tim Parkin. 6 is McCaffrey. Randall signal. Changed his mind. Stevens got up. Still a bustle there. And the overhead kick from Stevens eventually provides a fairly comfortable catch for Knight. Archie Stevens, a good effort nonetheless. Brian Williams. Withy. Stevens. Geraint Williams stopped by Webb. Geraint Williams after him. Morgan, possibilities here. Nice change of direction by Morgan. And he was so close to the goal too. Touch of pedigree about that from Morgan. Little change of feet that made him the room. That's nicely done. He's lost Parkin, and he didn't take long to size up the shot. Bobby Gould, the Bristol Rovers manager, having our last few desperate words. So it looks as though Bristol Rovers' useful little spurt is going to be held up here, coming into this game with 10 points from their 4 previous matches. Or could there be one here? It should have been! Randall should have put that away, and he knows it. Just dropped onto his right foot for the volley. Cross turned over by Withy, and he tried to side foot it and didn't keep it down. Sherwood chased by Stevens, and now by Randall, and now and off the line by McLaughlin, but I think that the flag was up for offside before that one. But certainly there was one absolutely critical save there by Alan Knight. Randall given his second chance in as many minutes, and it looked as though he would have the opportunity to make amends. Withy going through, Randall coming onto it, and just a wrist to it by Knight. Then off the line by McLaughlin, but by then the whistle had gone for offside. Biley with the ball. Rogers. McCaffrey. Brian Williams. And the final whistle goes, and Portsmouth have broken their run of 4 games without a win, beating one of their challengers for promotion, Bristol Rovers, thanks to a brave goal from Alan Biley. And just how brave, he'll have a scar to show for quite some while yet. The 2 newcomers, Nicky Morgan and Kevin Dillon, also made a good impression, and this, when they look back, may well prove to be a very important victory for Portsmouth. They've beaten Bristol Rovers by 1-0.
So Portsmouth break that run of 4 games without a win, and indeed without a goal. But who was it that finally made the breakthrough? It was Mick Tate, according to the referee, but Tate said no, give it to Alan Biley for his bravery. Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a look now for ourselves. Corner from John McLaughlin, and it's a good one. And it's Mickey Tate, indeed, whose header this is. It comes down off the bar, but does it cross the line? The answer quite clearly is no, it doesn't. So despite his generosity, it wasn't Tate's goal. It was Alan Biley's there with that very brave dive indeed. And his bravery cost him a very nasty gash under the right eye. And what a blessing he didn't get kicked any higher, otherwise he could have lost that eye. The good news is he won't miss Pompey's next match. Anyway, this is how the top of the 3rd Division looks tonight. Pompey with 70 points. Newport, who won 1-0 at Bournemouth today, are second. Then come Cardiff, who beat Lincoln 1-0 in another very important game. Then a really healthy-looking gap. Huddersfield in 4th place are now 8 points behind Portsmouth. So then Portsmouth very nicely placed indeed for promotion. One other 3rd Division result of note today. Southend beat Sheffield United 3-1.
Division. There are various possibilities from today's fixtures. But if Pompey beat Southend here, the rest will be academic, and they will be sure of promotion.
Yes, there were 18,300 fans inside Fratton Park this afternoon to see Pompey's crucial match with Southend, and that's our main game here on the Saturday match. Also tonight, who goes up from Division 2? The battle for the 3rd promotion spot there is the tightest of all this season, and we'll be looking at the crunch games. Fulham against Carlisle and Oldham against Leicester.
May, an injudicious back header. McDonough.
Yes, some good action there at Boundary Park. Also tonight, a warning for relegated Brighton. Manager Jimmy Melia has some tough words for his Wembley-bound stars. But we start at Fratton Park, a ground which last saw second division football 7 years ago. And our commentator there today, Gerald Sinstadt.
Well, there's nobody who typifies the Portsmouth spirit better than Steve Hazelwood. Last Saturday at Doncaster, he broke his nose for the second time this season. But he'll be in there today, battling with the best. There were injury scares this week about John McLaughlin, Achilles tendon, and leading scorer Alan Biley, who's had a groin strain. But as you see, they are both okay. Biley, indeed, needs only one more goal to have his best ever scoring season. As for Southend, they've got their strongest side out, bearing in mind that they balanced the books a couple of months ago by selling Dave Cusack and Anton Atulakowski to Millwall. But that's given a chance to a couple of 18-year-olds, Warren May and today's substitute, Adrian Owens. Southend's leading scorer is Steve Phillips, their skipper, with 12 goals. Our referee today comes from Bristol. He is Mr. Eric Reed. Southend will kick off there in the all-red strip, Pompey in blue tops and white shirts, and Portsmouth will be playing from the left. We've got a bit of cloud about, but also some sunshine. Here's Phillips for Southend. Greaves unable to come onto the pass, and it's Sullivan, and it's also offside against Bill Rafferty. Shot from Phillips, but not a lot of power behind it, and Alan Knight picks up. Fans have come today looking for a celebration. And a wonderful scene to see the packed terraces behind. Awkward one for Causton, and he dropped it. Rafferty, whistle has gone, and it's a free kick for a foul on the goalkeeper, who dropped the ball under pressure. Irving Causton, who's been a very sound goalkeeper over the seasons for Southend. Wonder now if we'll be able to spot the foul. Goes the keeper. Really didn't look too serious, I must say. There's Pountney, Sullivan, Rogers, and Rogers given a good return ball by Dillon, and a good tackle back by Pennyfather. Rafferty, Sullivan arriving, gets a corner, fullback making a timely appearance in the box. Rogers to take the corner, Hazelwood on the near post, ball played short to Sullivan, and driven across low, Hazelwood, good save! Free kick has been given. I suspect there was an offside there, but Hazelwood's appearance in the penalty area called out a very good save from Sullivan's cross following the corner. Low, and then the ball went loose. Hazelwood got it, but when Causton made his save, Biley was offside. Nelson. Instead will take the corner. Just a little gang on the near post. Hazelwood and Tate, the two central defenders in the picture. And Knight changed his mind and was almost caught in no man's land by the header. Phillips there. Corner hit deep. Knight went back. Phillips' header went over the top. It's Moody's header. basically playing with Moody, picking up Rafferty, as he will now, and May keeping an eye on Bailey. Quarter of an hour gone without a goal. Lovely touch from Bailey. Rafferty. And Rafferty again, and a good save by Corsten. Referee played the advantage then when there looked as though there might have been a foul on Rafferty. Lovely little back heel from Bailey put Rafferty clear. Dive in by Clark. Rafferty got past it, but not past Corsten. Good goalkeeping. Phillips stopped by Doyle. Tate. No handball. Referee was going to wave them on, but took the signal from the linesman. Handball by Alan Moody. Picked up by Mr. Burns from Bath, the linesman on the near side. So McLaughlin's free kick. And another corner. McLaughlin took it, and Hazelwood was there, and his header was deflected, and it's yet another corner. Hazelwood, powerful presence in the penalty area. This time the left-footed in-swinger from Rogers. Deep, and the goalkeeper didn't get it, but Dillon did! Goalkeeper's mistake, punished emphatically by Kevin Dillon. Corner, in-swinging but deep, and Corsten under pressure couldn't hold it, and Dillon smashes it in. So that's put the Pompey fans in party mood. It's now Portsmouth 1, Southend 0. That's the message from Fratton Park. Reeves, Pennyfather, aim for Mercer. Good bit of goalkeeping by Knight. Judged the line well. Wiley's header, then Webb. Webb again. Push by Pennyfather. Free kick to Portsmouth. Portsmouth just keep two men back to guard Greaves on the halfway line, and they have 8 forward. Doyle. Bailey. Webb. Can he get the shooting angle? It was a well-worked move. There was an element of disappointment you could sense in the crowd when the free kick was played, but I think Pompey knew what they were up to all the way there to get Webb in, and when he made the shooting angle, snatched at it and pulled it. Dillon chasing this one through. Webb, this time he's better, and Corsten makes the save. Neil Webb certainly got the target in his sights that time. Dillon had chased the long ball, held it up until Webb arrived, and that was a good shot and a good save. So the half ending on a note of excitement as McLaughlin takes the corner, May heads away, Dillon miskicks. And Pennyfather clears, Greaves slips, Sullivan back to Knight. Bobby Campbell there with Peter Ellis, his sub, beside him. And there's the half-time whistle, and Portsmouth are on target for the second division. A goal here scored by Kevin Dillon, giving them a half-time lead of 1-0. But Dillon's 4 previous goals for Portsmouth have come in pairs, so maybe he'll be thinking in terms of another in the second half. Anyway, I'm sure there's plenty more excitement and celebration to come. We'll leave them now to their half-time break with Portsmouth leading 1-0. It's 7 years since Portsmouth were last in the second division. I don't suppose he remembers those days. So we start the second half with Portsmouth kicking off, leading 1-0, and that's a scoreline that won't entirely surprise Southend fans. Their team playing here for the 7th time in a league game. They've actually never scored a league goal at Fratton Park. Here's Danny Greaves. Mercer goes over, looks at the referee. Referee puts his hands behind his back and turns away. There's May's header, then Greaves. Nelson. Tate. Out of play from the throw-in. Sullivan. Stead to Greaves. Away by Tate, so it'll be another Southend throw. Stead. That's a good header off the post from Nelson. Just a touch, I think, from Alan Knight's fingertips, depriving Gary Nelson of the equaliser. Cross well struck, good header, and I think Knight just touched it onto the post. Tate who made the clearance eventually. Gary Nelson deprived of his 10th goal of the season. And that's a reminder to Portsmouth that they can't afford to get complacent. Rogers. For Bailey to chase, and it's a beautiful ball too. May closing him down straight away again. And is that a penalty? No, it's a free kick, it's a corner. Well, no complaint from Bailey, and with their record this season, Portsmouth may almost feel they'd rather have a corner than a penalty. Rogers, Tate, Doyle, Dillon didn't control it, Partney. Greaves, Partney goes on, and Southend with a lot of men forward. It was too high for Phillips, a drive from Partney but covered all the way by Alan Knight. Good build-up led by Pountney, then the cross from Greaves, just too high for Phillips, but a drive which Knight was behind all the way. Rogers. Doyle, Bailey, Rogers. Dillon on this side calling, but the pass for Rafferty was equally good. Rafferty against Pennyfather. Rafferty's left foot shot, and Corsten saves. Portsmouth waking up after the half-time break. Doyle. Dillon. Rogers. Rogers with room to cross. Rafferty! That's more like it. Build-up was fine. Finish was off target. Rogers into the space, well balanced for the cross, hit deep beyond the far post, and Rafferty couldn't get it on target. Webb. Bailey outside him, can go all the way. Little chip across, and out by Clark for the corner. Fine run by Neil Webb. Round the defender, round the goalkeeper. Little controlled chip across. Southend rescued by Clark. Tate's back header. Goalkeeper under pressure. Ball behind the bar and the goal kick. And they're going to take off Danny Greaves. Danny Greaves coming off and Adrian Owers taking his place. And we're about to have a substitution for Portsmouth. Peter Ellis is going to come on in place of John McLaughlin. McLaughlin, who was doubtful during the week because of an Achilles tendon injury, putting down his left foot very tentatively. And there's a big reception for Peter Ellis. The regular Pompey fans appreciating the contribution that he has made to the side, not only this season, but over a long spell at Fratton Park. Header by Tate gave the ball to Nelson. Pennyfather, cut out by Dillon. Bailey tricks May and plays it on for Dillon. Rafferty in the middle, Rogers joining him, Dillon making a good run. Rogers, chance for Rogers to cross now. Wanted it with the left foot and instead was able to prevent it. Fine break though by Kevin Dillon. Rogers again with a kick. Corsten didn't make the catch, and Pennyfather heads out, not for the first time. The goalkeeper getting hands to the ball but failing to hold it. Got his hands there but didn't hold it, and Pennyfather rescued him. And here's the next corner, and there's Bailey! There's a gap in the smile, but the sentiments are plain. Well, I don't think there can be much doubt about it now. Alan Bailey gets his 25th goal of the season, and that's a personal record for him. Celebrations all around Fratton Park. Tate. Rafferty. Doyle breaking. Can he get there? Good goalkeeping. Corsten out well. Looked as though Bobby Doyle was looking to get his name on the score sheet. Ellis puts it out for the corner. I have a feeling that That may actually be Southend's first corner of the game. Bobby Campbell, whose name has resounded round Fratton Park today. Corner played short to Pountney. Off Rafferty, and another corner. Nelson again. And the goalkeeper couldn't get there, but Rafferty has hooked it away. And all round this ground, the fans now beginning to make their way down onto the touchline, and the police having difficulty keeping them back. Rafferty, got Rogers in the middle, couldn't get it through. Clearance collected by Doyle. Sullivan. Rogers cross. Rafferty coming, and Moody puts it out into the crowd for the corner. Hardly room for the players now as the fans begin to prepare for the invasion that will surely come with the final whistle. Rogers finding it difficulty to get room to take the corner. And there was a foul on Byrie there. Passed unnoticed, and Webb shot wide. 2 minutes to go. Push by Hazelwood. It's a time for singing now, and it's difficult for the players. But Rafferty has unleashed a good pass for Rogers. Can Rogers do it? He's hit the post. Turns it back for Webb, and Webb has hit the goalkeeper. Causton made a good save, and Webb was denied. We've got fans on the pitch. Goalkeeper is still down. I think the ball from Webb may have hit him in the face. Encroaching several yards onto the pitch on the far side, and there's 1 minute to go. Referee checking his watch. There's an offside flag now which the referee hasn't seen, and the ball has gone into the crowd. We are now actually into the time that Mr. Reid is adding on, and I think that a prudent decision here now might be the final whistle. Referee determined to see it through. But there is a law of common sense in most referees' books, and I don't think anybody here would expect Southend to score once, let alone twice. Linesman really has no room to operate there at all. And there's the whistle, and here comes the stampede. Are back after 7 years. Portsmouth are heading once again for the second division. They made no mistakes this afternoon against Southend, and they dominated for most of the match. Fans now calling for Bobby Campbell, the manager, and there's a shirt tossed to the fans, and a precious souvenir for someone. Bobby Campbell, Mick Tate, Alan Rogers there, and these are the scenes just in the dressing room area, and in there they'll be able to hear the fans calling for them. And we'll be seeing them, I think, any minute now in the director's box. Goalkeeper Alan Knight. And the cheer tells you that the players are now out to appear. Billy Rafferty in the number 9 shirt. Bobby Campbell waves. Bratton Park pitch has disappeared under a sea of blue and white. It's going to be a long night of celebration here at Portsmouth.
Manager Bobby Campbell, what are your feelings on this afternoon?
Well, I think words fail you at a moment like this in your career, when your team's just down promotion after a very, very hard season. And how can you put words to this occasion?
I guess it's been worse for you on the touchline, perhaps, than it was for the players on the field.
Well, I don't know. I think it was bad for some of the... How many people here today?
Just under 18,000.
Just under 18,000 people. I think we all shared the excitement and the nerves and the tension. But in the end of the day, it was a wonderful result, and the boys have done it.
And Mr. Chairman, an ambition fulfilled for you too?
Yes, indeed. Yes, this is one step further on the trail. Let's hope we make the next one pretty quickly.
I think we might ask you for a toast to next season now.
Yes. Cheers. Cheers to next season. Cheers.
Steve, I think we've seen rather more of your nose than any other part of you this season.
Well, that's the third time I broke it last week, but it doesn't really matter now. You know, it's great to be up. I missed it when we went up from the 4th, actually. I missed the last couple of games with injury, and I was really sick about that, so...
You determined you're going to play today?
I was, yeah. I had a bit of a knee injury, and I broke my nose last week, but I was determined to play, so...
And you enjoyed it?
I did, yeah, except for the bang on my nose today. That was a bit sore.
How did you do that again?
But I just caught the back of his head. That's all I always do. I just put my head in and just catch the back of people's heads, really.
So you'll be looking forward to denting in on a few second division centre forwards next season?
I would hope I'll dent them rather than them dent me, but the way it goes, it's always my nose. It used to be my eye, but now I seem to lead with my nose, so it's a bit better, really.
But Alan, give us a smile. It's lovely.
It's crack, isn't it? It's crack.
You've certainly paid for your promotion, haven't you, this season?
Especially last few weeks, yeah. It seems to have all come right at the end, but they're worth it.
I mean, every time we come, you're in the wars. Last time it was your eye.
Well, John Simpson, the old physio at Cambridge when we were there, used to say, these are the medals you get. It's all worth it when you see it today. I mean, the crowd are unbelievable.
Best day of your career?
It's got to be, yeah, it's got to be.
You've had curious sort of ups and downs, haven't you? 3rd division, 2nd division, 1st division.
Some are just better ups than others, you know. It's just great to be playing football, and times like this you don't want to look back, do you?
And a personal scoring record to remember it by too.
Yeah, you never want today to finish, do you?
No.
That's great.
Enjoyed your goal?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But it's worth it. The lads have worked very hard all season. And I honestly believe we're the best team in the 3rd division, and it would be an injustice now if we couldn't go on and get the championship, really. It's down to the lads, it's a team game. We're all together and we've battled 100% and we're there.
Alan Biley, the man the other players call Wurzel Gummidge, smiling through there despite losing a tooth during the match. So then some marvellous moments for Pompey and for their fans. And now, of course, they want to go up as champions. And Portsmouth, as we can see, could clinch the title on Tuesday night. They're at home to Walsall, and victory then would mean that their 88 points and superior goal difference should put them out of the reach of all of their rivals. The top 3, by the way, all promoted. Well, some more key promotion issues coming up in Part 2. Fulham against Carlisle and Oldham against Leicester, plus the winners in our World Cup film competition. All that right after this break. Very much that you have enjoyed this edition of the Saturday Match. Don't forget, please, to put your clocks forward 1 hour. British summertime starts tomorrow, but you ought to still be up in plenty of time to watch Indoor Bowls on TBS tomorrow afternoon. That's the Triple Crown Classic at 3:30. From George and myself, it's good night. I reckon George has earned a good night's sleep after his efforts today. Bye-bye. You must be exhausted.
Don't go out there and think we've won well and you play well because you haven't.
No, that.
You're rubbish, both of you. Really? And you never missed every time? You had 100%?
You pair of boots rules, eh?
A revealing profile of Bobby Robson at Ipswich. Monday at 8 on Channel 4.
The first 90 minutes.
"30 years ago, Esso scientists made history by inventing the world's first multigrade. To give today's engines the protection they deserve, you need new Esso Superlube. No motor oil gives greater engine protection. No motor oil is better suited to meet today's motoring needs. New Esso Superlube, today's striped protector. Get some.
Videotape. Get the picture.
When all office work is done by paperwork, it can be more than just a pain in the wrist. In fact, a business that's all stationery can end up just that. Stationery.
I'm afraid I'll have to miss our meeting at your place. A little paperwork to catch up on.
So, if it can be said, phone instead.
You know what it's like when you run a business of your own. Hard work, but exciting. But don't make it harder than you need. Didn't you know you can get loans guaranteed up to £75,000? You can get grants to develop new products. You can get free management and technical advice.
Morning. How's business?
Oh, up and down.
You can get introductions to export markets. And you can get extra tax reliefs. In all, 86 schemes have been introduced to help growing businesses grow bigger. They're there for the taking.
Hey, give us a line.
Sure. Ring Free Phone Enterprise.
Dial 100 and ask for Free Phone Enterprise, and we'll send you all the details. There's a lot you can get from the government. Take it.
As she arrives, the gossip and the small talk, the rumble of half-sozzled conversation is suddenly silent.
No-fault motor insurance. When are they going to let us have no-fault child raising?
Here there are some questions a name might care to ask his underwriting agent. What rollers?
As editor, I'm proud to say it's been chosen Newspaper of the Year. The 4-section Observer with Colour magazine. Shouldn't it be your newspaper of the week?
Isn't it time you had the American Express card? To apply, take a form.
Oh, that'll do nicely. See the fabulous Johnny Mathis at Brighton Centre, Tuesday, 19th of April. Call Brighton 202-881 for Johnny Mathis bookings. Tomorrow night at TVS at 7:15, Heart to Heart is followed by Coffee at 8:10, and the village of Shillingbury now seems the perfect place for a fashion show until Coffee decides to lend a helping hand. Ladies' Man at 8:40 takes us up to our programme at 9:10.
In number 10 this week, Jeremy Brett stars as William Pitt the Younger, whose love for a young woman scandalised all society.
If you call me child once more, I'll provide incontrovertible proof that I am nothing of the kind.
She is a child, and nor are you in the least discreet. You must marry her.
I cannot.
Plagued by a terrible family madness, a deathbed promise had forbidden any possibility of children.
I do not wish to marry you, Ellen.
You are cruel. And I'd have staked my life that you were not.
Jeremy Brett stars as the tormented William Pitt the Younger in number 10, tomorrow night at 9:10 on ITV.
Now on TVS, a Brian Clemens thriller starring Gail Honeycutt, Colour Him Dead.
Hello? Oh, hello. No, I think it more expedient if you don't mention my name. Not on the telephone. Nor do I want you to come up to my room. You are quite clear what you have to do? Well, give him a really hard sell. I mean, he's a tycoon. He'll understand a hard sell. Yes. The tools for the job. Oh, certainly I've obtained them, yes. Mannlicher, Magnum, of course. The 2020 scope. It'll be waiting for you at the front desk in 1 hour from now. In a plain wrapped cover, of course. Use it well, my friend.
Because they tie you down. How do you feel at the end of the day? Just like you once of your own grave. So how you fighting? Can't you see that it's you? And the world does nothing, so there's nothing to lose. Because your lonely heart will walk right on through. I don't see anything. My mind goes a blank in the U.S. sunshine when I'm in the crowd. I don't see anything. I'm trying to stop the supermarket. That's what's been long as the cat's running past. Our babies on toast. Technology is wrong host. She's just like me. They're trying to hide to set themselves real. They're waiting for the change. When I'm in the crowd, I can't remember my name. And my only name is lots of words I scream. When I'm in the crowd, I don't see anything. And life just leaves us apart. But equilibrium melts apart, the government sponsors underhand. When I'm in the crowd, when I'm in the crowd, when I'm in the crowd. Each other, taking orders, shall be a sport now. You should know better. You have been one that don't forget your sorrow you heard. In the crowd, I see a thing by my cause my blank. You said, when I'm in the crowd, I don't see anything. Just simply moves around. There's simple houses, simple jobs, and no one's wondering about the craze. I'm in the crowd. Well, I'm in the crowd. Well, I'm in the crowd. you. Let's together, please, for a town called Malice. Quiet life, 'cause it's the one we'll never know. And quit running for the runaway bus, 'cause those rosy days are few. Hey, stop apologizing for things you've never done. I need help, life is cold. It's up to us to change, and time don't matter. Hey. Up tissues, milk, and dying in the dairy yards. And 100 lonely housewives got shelter milk balls to their hearts. Hanging out their own love letters on the lines are dry. Enough to make you stop believing. Stop fast and furious in a time of malice. Ooh, yeah. Struggle after struggle, year after year. The atmosphere's a vibrant of ice. I'm on my stone cold dead in a time of malice. Yeah. Trees believe in Sunday's roast beef. Gets dashed against the co-op. And I got down there on a new school gear to beat this vision in a time of malice. Ooh, yeah. Steam train echoes down my track. Set the moment out for nowhere, just going round and round. Turn out kids and squeaking trees, a slaughter in the breeze. Two hours and I probably will, but I'm gonna put some joy back in this town called Malice. Yeah. This town called Malice. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. This is a modern world. This is a modern world. What kind of fool do you think I am? You think I know nothing of the modern world? All my life has been a slave, only to live days and things. It's my inspiration, why? How far do you ever go? You were in school at the quite sure. No one say I will be on top, and I will down upon the map. The teachers who say I'll be up. Hey, this is the modern world that I've learned about. This is the modern world, we don't need no one to tell us what's right or wrong. So what's your right to I don't care. Don't get you about so great. This is the final world that I've learned about.
On Channel 4 now, Panic in the Streets. However, on this side, it's time for the Saturday match.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the Saturday match. Well, tonight we sample the flavour of the FA Cup. It's the second round with everybody playing for a place in amongst the First Division giants. Well, our action comes from Fratton Park, and a real cup-tie thriller it is too. Portsmouth against Aldershot.
Doyle, Rogers. Through ball for McLaughlin. And that's Riley! That was a great save by Johnson.
And today's cup ties provided some surprises, none greater than Weymouth's performance at Cardiff. They were 2 goals down to the third division team at half-time, but won 3-2. Well, the third round has already been drawn. It's tough for Southampton, it could be great for Gillingham, and we'll have the full list a little later in the show. We've also plenty of goals from the First Division, from Manchester United against Notts County and from Luton against Manchester City. City, the latest team to feel the force of Luton's attacking skills.
Walsh guiding it backwards. They had trouble getting it out. Now can Ricky Hill turn it back? He can! And well turned away by Joe Corrigan.
George Best is here as well, and he reveals tonight why his Football League comeback in the south has been ruined. So there's plenty then to look forward to. We start though with the FA Cup, Portsmouth against Aldershot, the first time the 4th Division team have featured on TVS. And your commentator, Gerald Sinstadt.
It was back in 1939 that Portsmouth upset the odds and beat Wolves in a memorable FA Cup final. That's a long way back as football memories go, but the FA Cup still quickens the pulse in the same way. Today, Pompey tackle Aldershot in the second round, and this is their lineup. No Andy Rollings in the defence. He returned to first-team duty last Saturday after a 9 months absence. Now he's gone down with flu, and the number 6 shirt goes to Peter Ellis. Dave Thomas, who's been troubled by a hamstring strain, is the sub. Aldershot needed a late test on Murray Brodie. He was injured in training this week, but he's been past fit. Leading scorer is Dale Banton with 8 goals. Next comes Howard Goddard with 7. He's sub today after missing the last 3 games. And a return to the FA Cup for Ian Gillard, whose last 2 appearances in the competition were both at Wembley. He was in the Queen's Park Rangers side, beaten in last year's replayed final. While in Portsmouth's colours is Ernie Howe, who played almost 100 games in defence with Ian Gillard when they were at QPR together. The man in charge today from Brighton, Mr. M.J. Bodman. Clear skies overhead, a last check with the linesman, and away we go with Aldershot in an all-gold strip, attacking the goal to our right. Pompey, blue tops, white shorts, blue stockings, and red stockings rather. Hampshire neighbours, these 2 clubs, but very infrequently in opposition. In the 3 major competitions, league and the 2 cup competitions, they've only met 9 times before, and there was a real opportunity there for Mark Sanford, who couldn't quite sort out his shooting feet, and the ball was scrambled away for a corner. That's Mark Sanford, 19 years old, 3 goals this season. First corner of the game then to Aldershot. 4th Division against Portsmouth 3rd. The swinging corner headed on, and out for another corner by Biley. Alan Biley, who's been in such good goal-scoring form since he moved to Fratton Park. Corner from the other side, and this time a punch by Knight, carrying the ball well clear, but only as far as Peter Scott. This is MacDonald. Rafferty for Portsmouth. First time Portsmouth have been out of their own half. Biley is offside. Alan Bailey needs another 8 goals for his best scoring season ever. That would take him up to 24, one better than his best season when he was at Cambridge. Good gate, enjoying almost cloudless skies on a cool December afternoon at Fratton Park. Gillard, Donald again, who's at the hub of much of the play in midfield for Aldershot. He's played a good ball there. That first time by Paul Shrub. Worth having a blast at those, but they're more often off target than on. Look good when they go in. Paul Shrub. Webb run off the ball, got fouled. Blocklin's free kick played to Dawn. Nice little touch from Rafferty, and another by Tate. Shot from Webb! That's a magnificent goal! Superb build-up and priceless finishing. Neil Webb the scorer, and a lovely 4-touch build-up. McLaughlin's free kick, that was Tate's touch, then Bailey, and just look at this for finishing. Johnson left grasping air, and it would have been a very good goalkeeper indeed, who'd got even a fingertip to that. 4 minutes gone, Portsmouth 1, Aldershot 0. Down, and that's 1-1 from Briley. Less than 60 seconds between the goals, and Les Briley puts Aldershot back on terms. What a cup tie this is. Nice deep cross coming here, and a good nod down. Gillard coming back onto the right foot. Cross nodded down well. Briley turns on it, and that's another good...
Say hunting is cruel and repressive, but the Field Sports Association claim the council knows nothing about country pursuits, and they argue the implications of such a ban could affect other counties. The debate by Hampshire County Council is due to be...
Good evening. Tonight on Midweek Sports Special, one of the most remarkable nights for goals in international football, and we'll be showing them all as we feature England, Scotland and Wales in the European Championship. From Wembley, we have England against Luxembourg, and Brian Robson leading out his team for a match that they and all England supporters expect to end in victory. And for manager Bobby Robson, well, it will be a perfect start for this, his first competitive match at Wembley since he took the England job. So the football tonight, believe me, is well worth waiting up to see, not least to see the drama as Scotland lose 3-2 in Belgium and miss a late penalty, and for the amazing 4-4 draw that Wales got in Yugoslavia. And there's snooker too. It's the third day of the Hofmeister World Doubles Championships, and our host at Crystal Palace is Dickie Davis.
Well, here at Crystal Palace, Brian, in this brand new championship, it's the first of 3 semi-finals days, and the attraction of doubles plays for the Star is enhanced by the fact that there's £66,000 worth of prize money at stake, and £24,000 of that will go to the winning pair, along with this superb, solid sterling silver trophy, which itself is worth £5,000. Now, all the big names are there, and there's some very interesting pairings indeed. For example, this afternoon we had Alex Higgins and Eddie Charlton, the number 1 seed, starting their semi-final, against Terry Griffiths and Doug Mountjoy, and at the end of that 6-frame session this afternoon, the Welshmen were leading by 4 frames to 2. We're concentrating on the second semi-final tonight, which sees Steve Davis and Tony Meo, the London pair, who, although they're seeded 6, are the 7-4 favourites to win this title, and they're up against Jimmy White and Tony Knowles, who are seeded 9, and yet in the quarterfinals had a marvellous win, displacing the number 2 seeds, Ray Reardon and John Spencer. So there's a lot to look forward to, so do join us later on in the programme.
Thanks, Dickie. Yes, we'll be going back to the snooker later in the programme, but our first action takes us to Wembley for England against Luxembourg. It's England's first home game in this European Championship. Already Bobby Robson's men have drawn in Denmark, and then last month, of course, had a splendid 3-0 win in Greece. Well, this put them at the head of their group, and I think most people would expect them to stay in top place against a Luxembourg side that's already lost at home both to Greece and to Denmark. But let's get straight away to Wembley now and join our commentator there, Martin Tyler.
On a night when England are looking for goals, Luther Blissett, the Watford striker, starts a full international for the first time. Steve Coppell's ability to provide chances has secured his place, even though he's still feeling the baffling knee injury, which has kept him out of the international reckoning since the World Cup. Ray Clemence is back in the England goal after a training injury to Peter Shilton on Monday, and Terry Butcher's return to fitness covers the absence of Phil Thompson. 4 changes then in all from the side that won in Greece, but Bobby Robson retaining the midfield personnel who served him so well in Salonika: Sammy Lee, Brian Robson and Gary Mabbott. Luxembourg, in contrast, can call on just 4 full-time professionals: Chico Roman, Guy Hellers and Carlo Weiss. They both play in France, and Benny Reiter, the number 10, earns his living in West Germany. The rest are receiving just £20 each for tonight's appearance, and that also compensates for loss of wages while they're away from their normal jobs. For the first time in a major international at Wembley, the officials all come from Iceland. The referee is Hreidar Jonsson. It's a blustery night here for England's first home game in this European Championship. The pitch very much on the soft side. And Bobby Robson has given his side 2 tasks here. First of all, to win. Secondly, to win convincingly. No question that in this group, goal difference might be the final decider. And perhaps an opportunity here for England to improve their start to the European Championship in that particular capacity. Ken Sansom wearing number 3. Luxembourg will mark man for man at the back, and it's Bossy quickly in on Tony Woodcock. Tony Woodcock with 3 goals in his last 2 international appearances. England have the throw. Ken Sansom looking to take it long, and the delay was while Alvin Martin got forward to join Terry Butcher on the near post. It's Butcher who makes contact, and a good save by Merce. Blissett claims it was over. And it looks as though the England players feel that they've taken the lead. It was Blissett who got the final touch. As the referee goes across to talk to the linesman, Butcher flicked it on. And as Merce made the first save from Mabbott, it was Blissett who tucked it back. Was it over the line? The referee in the end said no. Merce punches again. England were hoping so much to get an early goal, not just to settle their own composure, but to stop any restlessness in the crowd. Because although Luxembourg, of course, amongst the weakest of the European nations, they can point to results like just a 1-goal defeat in Italy last year. But it was the despairing lunge from Jean Merce in Luxembourg's goal that in the end the referee said did enough to keep out Blissett's effort. Robson's pass, and Blissett is free here, but can't hit the target. But encouraging space for England to create. Luxembourg playing with just 2 men forward. Their intention here is not just to sit behind the ball. Their coach Louis Pilot is looking for them to try and play the ball around when they do get possession. And that sense of adventure might suit England as well. Brian Robson, captain at Wembley for the first time. Luxembourg retreat in front of him. And Blissett making a move off the ball, but lost his marker completely. But on that occasion, Roman plugged the gap. Again, both central defenders are forward. And it looks as though they're concentrating on the near post, Martin and Butcher. And it's Martin, comfortable for Merce, who'd stayed on his line, from Alvin Martin's header. Woodcock. Now Robson on his stronger foot. Merce can only beat it out. Now Blissett. In the end, the cool head was provided for Luxembourg by Johnny Clemens, the number 6. But Robson really stinging the goalkeeper's fingertips. It was an unorthodox save from Jean Merce, but he got away with it because Blissett couldn't convert the rebound. He Hellers, the 18-year-old. Gires taking over. Hellers again. Now Weiss, harried by Mabbutt. Luxembourg being forced back as they keep possession. The extra touches on the ball will help their confidence. Eventually Mabbutt gets the tackle in, and that's really what he's in the side to do. And it's Lee who frees Koppel. Robson wins it back. Blissett is onside. Robson going to the near post. And an own goal of the strangest nature. Bossy shakes his head. He drove the ball back, trying to clear it, and it went in off the goalkeeper. So England make the breakthrough, but in a way they could hardly have expected. Blissett's cross, Bossy's clearance, it hit Merce, it's an own goal. England lead after 17 minutes. But poor Luxembourg here. They had problems enough at the start without conceding a goal like that. Butcher. Two front runners moving ahead of him. But Butcher very disappointed in his efforts to find the pass. Could hardly have been further off target. Sanson with the throw. The amount of litter on the pitch again reflecting the windy conditions. Merce hesitated. Koppel makes it 2. As Luxembourg stood and waited. The goalkeeper starting to come off his line. Steve Koppel was not so hesitant. Got in front of the marker and planted the header into the corner. And Koppel, who's not scored in his last 17 internationals, is back on target for England again. His last goal was in May 1980 against Scotland. But he's made it 2-0 here. 22 minutes gone. Mabbutt. Well, certainly the crowd came here tonight, clearly not one of Wembley's biggest, but they came here tonight in anticipation that England would provide goals for them. They've seen 2 goals in the game's first quarter, and probably some of them still arguing that Luther Blissett should have been given a third. Sanson. Good turn from Blissett. There's Spice, who was tackling back. Butcher making his way forward, Martin there as well. It's Woodcock who's waiting on the far post as we look. It went beyond Woodcock in the end. And he manipulates another corner for England. And every time the ball is played across the face of the goal in the air, Luxembourg look in severe difficulties. Dresch, though, this time meeting it on the near post. Fine ball by Neil. Here's Koppel. England just waiting to provide the touch in the middle. Well, Luther Blissett, with club and now with country, does get into good scoring positions. But if there has been a criticism of his game, he doesn't finish a high proportion of the chances that come his way. And just look how many players England had waiting to turn in Koppel's cross. But Blissett put it over. Quality in the opposition, at times giving the England players a chance to have too many touches in possession. Mabbott again doing his job. This is Koppel. And Blissett. Goal kick. The linesman was flagging anyway. It may well be that Luther Blissett was offside. But it was interesting again to see Gary Mabbott winning the ball for England. Koppel played it in towards the near post, but Blissett had gone offside. Butcher, a header that drops here for Sansom. Played half away by Giddes. England switch direction. Here's Neil. Blocked by Di Domenico. Koppel on a run. Cross doesn't get past Clemens. England add to their tally of corners. Martin. 3-0, Tony Woodcock. And the marking at the corner, well short of international standard. Koppel's corner. Alvin Martin unattended, and Tony Woodcock right on his own. It's Woodcock's 11th goal for England. And he's on target here for the third successive international. Giddes. Reiter moving more freely now, linking up with Hellers. And Reiter again. And Clement started to come, went back on his line. In the end, it's a goal kick. And Reiter with a little show of temper. Presumably against the challenge from Sansom. For a moment as though Clements might be called into action for the first time in this first half. Sansom. Martin. Now Lee. This is Neil. For Robson. And for Woodcock, and Blissett surely this time. Well, he's miskicked it in. For Blissett, it's gone almost everywhere except the back of the net in the first 45 minutes, and when he was left with the most open of goals, even then the touch wasn't sure, but it crept over the line almost apologetically. Woodcock caught Luxembourg square here. and Blissett slapped at it. It came off the toe and bobbled in. So he gets a goal in his first full international, played here as a substitute for just 9 minutes against West Germany. To the delight, I'm sure, of the many family that have come as his guests tonight. And it means that England now lead 4-0 with a goal in the last minute of the first half. Sansom. A touch from Woodcock. Now Blissett. Clemens felt that Blissett had dived and was trying to attract the referee's attention to that point, but the free kick has been given. Steve Coppell, the England player who's joined the wall. Now will Lee have a crack here as he did in Greece? Robson over the ball with Blissett. England waiting their moment. And it may well be that they'll run out of time. It is half-time, in fact. But Luxembourg, as expected, have come as lambs to the slaughter here. John O'Merce beaten in unfortunate circumstances. The first goal will go down as an own goal against him. And after that, Steve Coppell quickly made it 2. Tony Woodcock got a third. And then Luther Blissett on the stroke of half-time, sending England into the dressing room, leading Luxembourg here by 4-0. Will take in the bank. It could easily have been 5 as we look again at this incident in the second minute of the game. Gary Mabbott's header. Maybe Luther Blissett was in an offside position, but certainly the referee allowed play to go on and adjudged here that Merce made a save when it may well be that the ball had crossed the line. And Luxembourg using a substitute for the second half. It's Alain Nuremberg. And it looks as though Marcel Di Domenico is the player he's replaced. So Luxembourg can hardly be looking forward to the next 45 minutes. Perhaps one target for England. 7 goals they scored here against Austria in 1973. They're on the attack straight away from the kick-off. Woodcock finding his effort stopped by Roman, painfully too. Lee with the corner. Alvin Martin, and Bossy just got there as Gary Mabbott threw himself at the ball. Robson. Here's Butcher. Blissett. Defensive work by Johnny Clemens, spoiled by the pass. Clemens perhaps grateful for the involvement. Woodcock. First time touch from Mabbott. And now Robson. Half stop by Roman and Blissett. Looks another chance wide. Rather adding up to a catalogue of misses for him. It must be said that it came quickly across the face of the goal. Robson involved initially. It broke here for Coppell. Blissett stretching, couldn't divert it onto the target. Robson has come down to the touchline from his seat in the stand, and the first consequence of that is that Mark Chamberlain is warming up. Butcher. Butcher again. Woodcock making that One that he favours into that channel down the left-hand side, but Roman was the master then. Weiss. And here's Nuremberg. England for once caught a little square. And Luxembourg's first real shot in anger. Havertz dropping to his right by the near post. And it's come after 62 minutes from Alain Nuremberg, the substitute. Woodcock. Now Mabbutt. And Woodcock is onside this time. The angle widening by the second as the ball ran away from him, but Blissett puts it in. Woodcock's shot coming back off the bar. The second for Blissett. He found himself in the right place again. It seemed to be getting more and more difficult for Woodcock from this angle. And he hit it with real power off the underside of the bar. And it came down perfectly for Blissett. And England haven't scored 5 goals at Wembley since Luxembourg were last here in 1977. But courtesy of Luther Blissett, it's 5 now. And England are looking to make their first substitution of the night. And it adds to the interest of the evening, really, because Mark Chamberlain will come on for his first taste of senior international football, replacing Steve Coppell. Chamberlain in his first season of First Division football with Stoke City. He came into the under-21 setup, and now his skills are on show at the full level. Chamberlain has immediately come wide on the right, as expected. He's got just over 20 minutes. Robson brought down by Reiter. Certainly been a game without any animosity. Robson again. Now Butcher. Into the feet of Woodcock. He was allowed to turn this time. Sansom. Well, both for club and country, he does get into that position quite often. And he's still, at this level, looking to finish such a move. Complete miscue at the end. All the time that Alvin Martin wants. Plenty of movement ahead of Butcher here. Sansom. With one touch from Woodcock. Sansom linking up again. Unable to carry it to safety. Robson. Here's Woodcock. Chamberlain had gone to the near post. Sansom. Finally played in by Butcher. It's a goal that Mark Chamberlain takes the credit for. They all jumped together, but it was Chamberlain who headed it into the corner. He's been on the field barely 5 minutes in his first international. Terry Butcher supplying the cross. Well, he was hardly brought on to do that. It's Tenerife goalkeeper Belta, a present for Eusebio. Barcelona now third, 3 points behind Real Madrid. Michael Laudrup leaving Baquero in front of a gaping goal, 2-0. Then Laudrup chipped onto the Tenerife bar. It dropped perfectly for Begiristain to collect the third. In Belgium, the second round of the Cup, Standard Liège against Bruges, it produced a thrilling game. Frank Perina, the Australian who leads the first division scorers, striking first for Bruges after 20 minutes. It took Standard Liège until the 67th minute to equalise, a goal from Liman, which sent the tie into extra time. Standard needed only 3 of the extra 30 minutes to take the lead for the first time. A bizarre Bruges error the Mexican Hermosillo could hardly miss. Bruges on the verge of going out of the UEFA Cup as well. They lost 2-1 at home to Rapid Vienna in the first leg of the second round of that competition, and Tons with a third for Standard Liège, giving Bruges a domestic jolt here. Jan Kerlemans typically fought to the last to pull it back to 3-2 in the 119th minute, but Bruges out of the Belgian Cup, and so too is the city's other senior club, Cercle Bruges, beaten at home by Anderlecht. Another important goal for a striker regularly featured in our roundup, Marc de Gruyser. On to West Germany, and a famous name on target for Borussia Dortmund, Rummenigge. Michael, that is, the younger brother of the great Karl-Heinz, a winner against struggling Bayer Uerdingen. The other Bayer-backed club in the Bundesliga started the day top of the table, Leverkusen. An own goal by Düsseldorf's Kaiser after 17 minutes. 1 up, Leverkusen were dominating the match, but they had to wait until the 54th minute for a second goal, a splendid one too. Christian Schreier with a super volley. Düsseldorf disturbed the pattern of the match by pulling back 1 goal. Michael Schütz surging through to score. Only for Leverkusen to quickly restore their 2-goal lead, a penalty from Martin Kree. 3-1 until 17 minutes from time, when substitute Backhaus created a second goal for Schütz, and Düsseldorf suddenly sensed the chance to pinch a point. And 10 minutes from time, Leverkusen losing Schütz again. His cross turned in by Klotz. The loss of 1 point meant Leverkusen replaced by Bayern Munich at the top of the table. PSV Eindhoven have regained the lead in Holland from Roda Michel Boerenbach after a difficult hour for PSV against Waalwijk. PSV without Vandenberg and Romario, but the Dane Flemming Poulsen took the spotlight with a clever chipped second goal. Hans Hielhaus turned down a loan move to Nottingham Forest earlier this season. This is a taste of what they missed at the City Ground. Hielhaus is a neat finisher, and he made it 3-0 to PSV Eindhoven.
Eat your heart out, Brian Clough. More football later with the Barclays League highlights, but for now, let's turn our attention to golf and the climax of the European Tour, the Volvo Masters. Valderrama's a good challenge for this, regarded as one of the toughest of the
Butcher. Roman has played Sansom onside. Seemed to be half-tripped, Kenny Sansom. If he'd gone down, it would have been possibly a penalty. But his whole attention was focused on the ball and his attempts to try and get in the cross. Now Robson. Bossy was the defender who was caught short. Robson, off the inside of the post and out. Nurse was nowhere near it. And Robson can reflect on the narrowest of misses. Completely lost Bossy on the turn. But no luck for the England captain. Neil. Past Nuremberg. Woodcock, again using the first touch to good effect. Here's Neil. And Woodcock. It was a move that deserved the finish. Woodcock playing his part there with a superb layoff. Neil linking up, and then Woodcock flinging himself for the header that sped wide. Meanwhile, Luxembourg have a free kick. The problem, the ball being moved by the wind. And given the difficulties in the conditions, England can look back on this match with some pleasure. Never has been a contest, but then I don't think anyone really expected that it would be. England's task was to score goals here, and they've accomplished that. Ellis. Sansom. Now Lee. Reiter chasing in. Martin. Look at Phil Neal, as if to say, you might have played it a little more firmly in my direction. And it's Lee who's the furthest England player forward in this attack, hooked out by Dresch. Neal. Now Hoddle, quickening the tempo. Good turn by Woodcock. He was trying to just slip it through for Robson. Roman again was the crucial defender who denied Tony Woodcock or forced the error from him. Robson. Woodcock sensing possibilities again. Blissett's in the middle. It's the hat-trick! Well, it could have been a night when they might have remembered the misses by Blissett in the first half. But now they'll remember that on his first full appearance for his country, he's got a hat-trick, a close-range header here from Woodcock's cross. Woodcock withstanding the challenge from Bossy, and from then on it was a formality for Blissett. It's 7-0. Remember the 5 goals Malcolm McDonald scored against Cyprus. That was the last time that an England player got 3 or more in a full international. And to find the previous 3-goal tally before that, you have to go back to the days of Geoff Hurst. Just touching it away. Hoddle, 8-0. One from the Glenn Hoddle repertoire. And a little reminder for the England manager, because that was quality finishing in any context. Guided back by Robson, no nonsense with the volley. And you have to have superb technique to do that. And there's no doubting the technique of Hoddle, even though he was stretching. So England chalk up the 8th. And there are 2 minutes left. And it's becoming hard to keep count of it all. Well, it wasn't the most commercial international on paper. The Football Association even asked Bobby Robson to take part in their advertising campaign to get a crowd here tonight. For those who have ventured out in the middle of December, when they might have stayed by the firesides, have seen a match that they'll remember. Not for the nature of the contest, but for the night that England found the target. Woodcock with a bit of a hand-off. Nuremberg. England having to to do some defending for a change. Neil. Watson. Now Neil. And Phil Neil is on the score sheet because you'll have a job to take that one away from him. It started with a strange goal here tonight of the goalkeeper, and it looks as though it's finished that way. Technically, Neil's attempted cross here would have gone in, I feel. Merce, diving there, made sure that it did. In 1961, when Bobby Robson was a player, England won 9-0 in Luxembourg, and now Robson's team have emulated that achievement. And the England manager had two objectives here tonight. First of all, to get the victory.
He's got the break, it dropped lovely for Vandenberg, and that's it, 1-1.
Well, Scotland happily putting passes together in the Belgian half. Archibald needs some support. Certainly done plenty of running in the match so far for Scotland. Dalglish. Well, that's a great turn by Dalglish. Chance now on for Scotland. Dalglish is best! Oh. And that is a goal to remember. Marvellous play by Kenny Dalglish, and if anyone cares to question his ability in a Scotland jersey, let him look at that goal again. Absolutely magnificent. Perhaps the only man in the United Kingdom who could have done this. Great play, and look at the finish with the left foot. Walter Muse. Vandenberg took up good position, so did Keulemans. Great play from Belgium. Van der Els. And this time it's the Belgians' turn to celebrate. Francois Van der Els, the hammer of the Scots, does it again. There's Keulemans again, and lots of space for Belgium. This might be the man to tear Scotland apart. Van der Smiss into Van der Els. And Van der Els celebrates in typical fashion as Belgium take the lead for the first time in the match. Stark to Souness. Souness is brought down. That's a penalty kick. Fouled by Keulemans. Referee Garrido, no hesitation at all. And now we are faced with our most crucial penalty kick for Scotland. Now Gray will take the kick. The save from Clark. And utter dejection from Frank Gray and his Scottish colleagues. Let's take a look at it again. Now did the goalkeeper move? Let's check on that. Well, there's not much doubt about it. He was away before the ball was struck, but it was still a great save.
Scotland beaten then, 2 goals for West Ham's Belgian international, Francois Van der Els. That's a great return to the international scene for Francois. But no doubt at all also that the Belgian goalkeeper, Jean-Marie Pfaff, did move before Frankie Gray's penalty kick. And I suppose in that respect, Scotland a little unlucky to be beaten. But it does mean that in that group, Scotland are second. But Belgium, with 2 wins from their 2 games, well, they're really in the driving seat now. And Scotland's next game is at home to Switzerland on March the 30th, one they have to win. Well, meanwhile, Wales were playing this afternoon in Yugoslavia. The Welsh had already got off to a good start with a 1-0 victory over Norway, but this was always going to be a tougher proposition for them. But what a dramatic match it turned out to be. Yugoslavia against Wales from Titograd. Wales are in the yellow strip, and our reporter is Peter Brackley.
A truly astonishing match played in atrocious conditions. The pitch was barely playable. Began splendidly for Wales. Just 5 minutes gone when Ian Rush broke clear after this long kick upfield by Di Davis. Although Svila, the Yugoslav goalkeeper, saved his shot, Graham Fredden was able to steer in the rebound. As you see from the replay, it was the determined challenge from Robbie James that created the opening for Rush, who'd be disappointed perhaps not to have scored himself. Brave keeping there by Svila, but Flynn's finishing was cool and clinical. 9 minutes later, Yugoslavia were level, the first of 3 goals resulting from corners on the left by Trifunovic. The diving header from Zvetkovic, squeezing past Di Davis. The second Yugoslav goal on 18 minutes was a similar one. Zvivkovic, this time sliding the ball in after Davis had missed the cross. And certainly the goalkeeper at fault here as he dashes off the line. Although in fairness to Davis, timing in such heavy conditions was clearly a problem. So after such an encouraging start, Wales were now struggling. 2-1 down, and 9 minutes from half-time they went further behind from this move down the Yugoslav right. Pranaka with plenty of time to steady himself in the mud and turn the ball in. Good work from Stojkovic had sent Deveric clear on the right. His cross eluding defenders, and Pranaka, who was a constant threat up front, managed to score despite a despairing dive there by Davis and the player on the line, Joey Jones. But the Welsh as ever showed their character, and a minute later Ian Rush, who's been in such prolific goal-scoring form of course for Liverpool, he made it 3-2, an error there by Trifinovic, presenting him with the chance. 3-2 then to Yugoslavia at half-time, but on 66 minutes the 2-goal lead was restored. Substitute Jesic this time on hand to score. Once more the Welsh defence failing to cope with the corner from the left. Davis scrambling as the ball comes across, but he can't manage to reach the ball, and Jesic is there to thump the ball in from just a couple of yards out. But still the courage of the Welsh shone through, and they almost scored when Robbie James burst clear and struck the bar with this fierce shot that Zvilar couldn't quite hold. Ian Rush in the area had claimed the ball had crossed the line, but as you can see here quite clearly from the replay, it bounced down just in front of it. Just seconds later, though, at a moment that Joey Jones will treasure for a long time, his first international goal on his 48th appearance. A corner from Brian Flynn, and after efforts from first Rush and then Jeremy Charles, Jones finally scores, the ball going in off the goalkeeper and via a post too. 4-3, and soon the Welsh comeback was complete. A free kick 10 minutes from the end just outside the area, and Robbie James here curling the ball round the wall after Flynn had touched the ball back to him. A magnificent fight back then by Wales. They almost sneaked a win when James again hit the bar near the end. Yet again a chance emerging from a corner from Flynn, and look how close James was to a dramatic winner. But manager Mike England was clearly delighted with the result, as he told our interviewer Hugh Johns.
Oh, very jubilant. They're delighted because before the game, you know, any team that comes to Yugoslavia and goes away with a point must be very happy. In the last few seconds we could have gone away with 2. It was a remarkable game, I think one of the most remarkable I've ever seen. The conditions, of course, were responsible for what was going on. And, you know, you say, well, you scored 4 goals away from home, you should have won. We certainly should. But we're quite happy with the point we're taking away.
Yes, well done, Wales. And in that group, Wales now stay top. They've got a game in hand also on Norway and Yugoslavia. Their next game is at home to Bulgaria on April the 27th. 22 goals from those 3 internationals on Midweek Sports Special tonight. That's quite a bonanza. Now let's pick up the rest of the night's sports news from Elton Wellesby.
Yes, an amazing night for goals involving England, Scotland and Wales, but not for Northern Ireland. They failed to score in Albania, and altogether it was a pretty miserable goalless draw. Ireland really needing both points to keep in with any realistic chance of qualifying. Either Austria or West Germany will most likely go through. Well, away from the internationals, there was only one game tonight, an FA Cup second round replay. Bradford City 3, Mansfield 2. Bradford now meet Barnsley in the third round. Rugby League, the former Hull and Leeds international Dick Gemmell has been named as Great Britain's new team manager. It's a temporary appointment at this stage, which could become permanent at the end of the season. And there are 2 candidates for the vacant coaching position, Oldham's Frank Myler and Castleford's Mal Riley. One Rugby League result tonight in the John Player Trophy second round replay, Hull 8, Bradford Northern 20. Racing news, and there was a surprise defeat for the Hennessy winner Bragorn at Haydock today. He was beaten 10 lengths by Little Owl, who's now joint favourite with Silver Buck for the 1983 Cheltenham Gold Cup. Little Owl will run next in the Boxing Day showpiece, the King George at Kempton, and that's a race you'll be able to see exclusively on ITV. Cricket. The England captain Bob Willis has blamed the shortage of young fast bowlers in this country as the reason behind the latest setback on the tour of Australia. England lost the third test by 8 wickets this morning, a match dominated by Australia's trio of fast bowlers, Jeff Lawson, Rodney Hogg and Jeff Thompson. Well, let me tell you now about a couple of highly skilled events that you'll be able to see on ITV a little later this month and also early in the new year. It's gymnastics, and on December the 28th, there's a display by the Russians, who are widely regarded, of course, as the sport's leading exponents. Then on January the 3rd, Britain's most prestigious gymnastics tournament, the Coca-Cola International, featuring a very rare appearance by the Cuban Federation. And their team is headed by Sergio Suarez, the man who got that unique score of 10 in last year's World Championships in Moscow. Brian.
Thanks, Hilton. Well, now it's time for snooker and the Hofmeister Doubles Championships at Crystal Palace. Well, when we looked in briefly at the start of the programme tonight, Dickie Davis promised us some interesting semi-final place. Let's go across then and join Dickie.
Well, it really has been one of those evenings, Brian, because we've had some marvellous entertainment with the start of a semi-final between the favourites, Steve Davis and Tony Meo, and that exciting partnership of Tony Knowles and Jimmy White. Now, the semi-finals are played over the best of 19 frames, over 3 days, and they played their first 6 frames this evening. White and Knowles won the first frame, 86-31, and with the help of a break of 69 by Steve Davis in the second frame, the Londoners levelled it. So it's 1 frame each. We're going to join it for frame 3. Tony Meo is at the table, and commentary is by Dennis Taylor and John Pullman.
Tony Meo breaks off in the third frame. 1 frame all at the moment. 19-frame match, this semi-final of the Hofmeister World Doubles Championship. And Tony Knowles in a little bit of bother here. There's a pretty good break from Tony Knowles. Well, there you see the result, little snick, and left Steve Davis with a chance of a red into the corner pocket, but the colours are not too nicely situated. Not too easy to get on the back. I think it will go into the same pocket that the red will disappear into, but not at all easy to get onto it. I decided to go down for the blue.
1.
Six. It'd be interesting to see if Steve attempts to get onto the black here with a little cannon on the red. 7. That's exactly what he managed. Very clever little billiard type shot there. $14. 15. 22. 23. Well, looks, he might have a slight angle on the black here. Not quite the angle he wanted. Would have liked to have gone into the bunch of reds. $30. 31. Well, Steve Davis now looks to have settled into a Nice rhythm, seems to be cueing very smoothly. Still probably the finest cue action in the world, this young man. Although he's had a bit of a lean spell in the last 9 months. A lot of people are saying what's happened to Steve Davis, but I can assure you he'll be winning quite a number of tournaments in the next season. Well, that looks as if he has the angle this time. Somehow has to dislodge a few of those reds. .42.
It's amazing, Dennis, how you get periods of time when you continually go into the pack of reds and nothing comes to your advantage. You know, that's the second or third time that Steve has played that particular type of shot and not got a red on. Sometimes it comes right, sometimes it doesn't. That takes them into a 42-point lead. Well, Jimmy White shaping up there to bring the cue ball back to the top cushion. Yes, he's decided that's the shot he's going to play. Oh, that was a little bit fortuitous. I don't think Jimmy really anticipated potting that red, but in it went, and he's reasonably on the black here. This could have been a very nice little fluke to get. Red's now nicely split up.
8. 9.
And this young man only needs half a chance to knock a few balls in.
$16. 17. 'And he also keeps the referee on his toes, that's for sure. 24. Doesn't mess around. Known as Whirlwind White. 25. 'Now just 10 points behind, and the reds are still nicely placed. 33.
Yes, this young man then is not as quick around the table as Alex Hurricane Higgins, but certainly I would suggest
36.
quicker on the shot than Alex. One sight and bump as a rule.
37.
Well, find that one a little difficult to get at as a left-hander. And it goes, no, yes it did, just wriggle in.
44.
So, takes White and Knowles into a 2-point lead.
45.
And more to come.
Well, just about 6 inches further than he wanted it. Just the safety shot to play here, I should feel. 49, Jimmy White.
Davis and Mio 42, White and Knowles 49.
Now let's see if Tony Knowles can pop in a long red here. Well, he normally would have knocked that in, but he's playing in a doubles match, so a little bit more difficult to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, I think a good point to mention here, Dennis, that of course players are sitting out a little longer in a doubles match than they would be for pairs. So it's very easy to get cold. If you go to the table a couple of times with nothing much on, you know, you're frozen out of the game for quite a long period sometimes.
Foul.
And of course, always the thought that one doesn't want to let one's partner down, so a little bit of added pressure for the boys, yeah? Well, chance here for Tony Knowles. 3 points in front at the moment. 49 points to 46. And the penultimate red over the pocket. Oh, that's not too good.
One.
Might be able to disturb the last red when he puts this black. Well, he's content to hold it. But certainly not an easy pot, this. He might well be advised to play a snooker here. Send the red down the table, leave the cue ball behind the black. Well, had to go at the pot, and then it went. That was an extremely good pot. Certainly wasn't an easy one. Puts them 19 points in front now with just the colours on the table. 27 points.
Tony Knowles.
And that was a perfectly judged snooker from Steve Davis. Twice across and just onto the yellow. Well,
Foul. 4. Davis and Mio.
not only has he
Davis and Mio
not negotiated
50,
the snooker,
White and Knowles 65.
but could find themselves in a little bit of bother after this next shot. If Tony Mayo can stop that cue ball somewhere around the position of the yellow and get the yellow up into the balk area. May just be a little bit strong with that one.
Well, Tony Knowles can hit the yellow. It's not a snooker, but not a nice shot to have to play. Not easy to get this one safe. And only 15 points in the frame. It's still anybody's game, this. I'll be quite happy with that. That looks pretty safe.
Well, that's not quite as intended. Requires a reasonably thin contact. Where's that cue ball going?
2.
And this is the vital ball coming up. Just checks the scoreboard. He wants this Brown to leave this frame safe.
9.
And that puts them 24 points in front. Just 18 left on the table.
9, Jimmy White. Davis and Mio 50, White and Knowles 74.
So Davis and Meir requiring 2 snookers at the moment, assuming, of course, that the penalty for the first one is a mere 5. A pretty daunting task. Well, that looks pretty good. But not too difficult. Bolt cushion onto the blow. Shouldn't be too difficult for Tony Nose to negotiate. But, having said that, would you believe it?
Foul.
And has given, and this is most important,
7.
has given 7 points
Davis and
away.
Meir.
Which means that Steve Davis, should he be able to pot the 3 balls here, can win this frame. There's 17 points in the game now, with 18 on the table. Well, he's certainly got a chance here. And that's it. There's
11.
no way that he's going to miss this black to win this frame by just 1 point. To go into a 2 frames to 1 lead.
18.
And there it goes. Well, that was one that they pinched back. But Steve Davis and Tony Meir lead by 2 frames to 1.
So the closest to finishes, and with Steve Davis and Tony Mio now leading, we're going to join the 4th frame. They're out in front, 27 points to nothing, and last year's world champion is at the table.
Well, there is a possible long red into the corner pocket. And that looks pretty good.
One.
And that was a very clever long red from Steve Davis. He'd left the white in such a position.
8.
The red he played was the only possible one he could leave. As it is, he's right in the driving seat.
9.
And from the sound of the wind whistling through the rafters here at Crystal Palace, one wonders if that fellow Higgins is looking in at this match.
$16.
Great opportunity here for Steve.
17.
A few months ago, you'd have bet odds that he'd have knocked most of these in. The last few months, not quite putting it together as he was in 1981 when he won just about everything that happened. But obviously nobody could continue to do that. And as I was talking there, played a little bit of a loose shot, I would have thought. Hasn't got himself into the position that he desired. Once again, a long red into the baulk corner pocket. Little screw shot to get onto the black. Well, it doesn't matter whether you get on them or not if you can pot like that. There's still problems here. Oops.
25.
One that went astray.
Well, that takes Steve Davis and Tony Mayo into a 52-point lead. And there's still a lot of points left on the table yet.
One.
And this is when Jimmy White is at his most dangerous. Time and time again, from this position, I have seen him clear all the balls off the table. And that certainly helped the situation.
6. 7.
Well, virtually, Dennis, there isn't a ball on the table now that isn't potable. So if this young man minds his work, he should clear up here.
14. 15. 22. 23. 30.
A little bit short on that one. Had to go down for the blue.
31.
And just one more red on the table after this blue.
36. 37.
And this, I suppose, would be recompense for having lost the last frame when Steve Davis and Tony Mayo needed 2 snookers on the blue, and Tony Nels obliged by giving 7 points away.
44. 47.
Well, he's a little bit short, but Jimmy White, one of the best players in the game with the rest.
51. 56.
Now just needs the pink to clinch this 4th frame.
62.
And what a match I think we're in for here, Dennis. That levels it up. 2 frames all.
69 and frame, Jimmy White.
Yes, level, and how prophetic that comment by Dennis Taylor about the Jimmy White finishes. Frame 5 went to Davis and Mayo, 61 points to 21, so they were back out in front again, 3 frames to 2. And in the last frame of the evening, White and Knowles went out to a lead 48 to 31. We're going to join it with Steve Davis playing, and he scored 11.
Well, that was a good try, but it didn't go. Well, 2 reds left.
48. Davis and Mayo,
And
31.
17 points in the front. Jimmy White and Tony Knowles, 17 points in front at the moment. And one good pot here from Jimmy could just about clinch this frame.
1.
Well, didn't make the best of that. I think this one will pot.
Five, Jimmy White.
So now 22 points in the frame. Just the last red, possible 35 points on the table. Oh, what a cracking pot that. Oh, worth a guinea a box those.
One.
And nicely on the pink. Shouldn't be too difficult to get on the yellow, and Tony could well clean up and win the frame here. What a tremendous last red that was, Dennis.
Yes, I would say that deserves to win any frame, John.
Nine.
And unfortunately for Tony Knowles and Jimmy White, all the colours out in the open.
12. $16.
And that's the perfect angle to take the cue ball up for the pink.
$21.
And the score tells you he still needs both colours. Tony just checking.
$27.
Well, he's a little bit confused at the moment, but he's got to knock this one in.
Well, there it goes, but still a long way to go in this match. I'm sure we're in for a tremendous battle when this match is resumed. Steve Davis and Tony Mayo go into a 4-2 lead.
So the favourites having the better of the opening session, leading by 4-2, and they continue the semi-final tomorrow afternoon. Our programme starts at 2:45. I hope that you can join us for that. In the evening, we'll have the other semi-final, which is between Alex Higgins and Eddie Charlton, and Terry Griffiths and Doug Mountjoy, who also lead by 4-2. That's tomorrow night. See you next, though, at 2:45 tomorrow afternoon. Until then, from all of us here, good night.
Thanks, Dickie. Well, what a night it's been on Midweek Sports Special. And finally, the closing headlines. Goals all the way. England get 9 against Luxembourg. Scotland lose 2-3 in Belgium. And Wales grab a 4-4 draw in Yugoslavia. But the headline maker tonight is Luther Blissett. A hat-trick in his first full game for England. He's had the last word tonight. Good night to you all.
Tonight was sort of a combination of really all the hard work and effort I've had to put in together. And now that I've been there and I've played at Wembley, I think it's a pinnacle of, everything I've worked for. I'm very, very pleased about it.
For Robson, and for Woodcock, and Blissett surely this time. Well, he's miskicked it in. Woodcock is onside this time. The angle widening by the second as the ball ran away from him, but Blissett puts it in. Woodcock sensing possibilities again. Blissett's in the middle. It's the hat-trick.
But we would be in that position where we'd be lucky to give love to other children in need of that extra love. And they would get it. They would get it very much from Michael and myself, because we do love children and we love ours very, very much. It's very much a Christian home. My children go to Sunday school, which I help out on. Also, they attend the church services, which they love very much. But the most important thing is that we feel very strongly, Michael and myself, is that when we've been to church, there is a strong feeling of love and happiness when we've come from church. And it's a very, very strong bond indeed.
The hymn choice on a hill far away, it does mean a lot. If you look at it, around us, you know, we have got a lot of hills, and you can imagine seeing the cross up there and what it stands for.
Envoy Mrs. Elizabeth Neeson is in charge of the Salvation Army in Welshpool. As a young officer, the Army's special emphasis on accepting your calling wherever it might be was a trial for her.
My second appointment in 1943 was to Marylebone in the heart of London during the war years, and we had to do 3 nights a week on the Shepherd's Bush underground, looking after, there was 2,000 people there, and we did first aid amongst them. And what with the bombings during the day and night, I decided that I had felt that I'd had enough of the war and wanted to return home. But the officer, Major Amy Gibbons, who I was stationed with, one morning left a little note by the side of my bed and quoted part of a chorus which we sing in the Salvation Army. Just where he needs me, my Lord has placed me. Just where he needs me, there would I be, to serve him joyfully, and underlined the word joyfully. And I read it, and needless to say, I did not come home.
Of course, you came back to Welshpool many years later. Would you say that was an easier posting for you?
No, it was the way that God wanted me to go. Sometimes I look back and I think that perhaps if I'd have stayed in the work, I might have been in a bigger organization, but I think that eventually God is going to count faithfulness as one of the most important parts of our Christian living, and here we are just a small but a faithful handful of soldiers, and I have great joy in leading them. And the hymn that I've chosen is what we call in the army a personal experience. Each verse begins, I could not do without thee, O Saviour of the lost. And that is my personal experience. I could not do without thee, because the last verse says that I know thou wilt be near me, and whisper, it is I.
Pam Owen is matron of Welshpool Hospital. She looks after a maternity unit and a geriatric ward.
We have a service on the ward every Wednesday afternoon. This is looked forward to very much by the patients. They enjoy the visits from the clergy, and they also enjoy singing the familiar hymns and reading the familiar psalms and prayers. Most of them, of course, know them really. Lots of them have been going to churches and chapels all their life, and they do like to repeat the familiar things over again. We think of nursing really as being a practical Christianity. I feel really perhaps we could all add quality to each other's lives and the patients if we tried to follow the teaching of the New Testament and the lessons given us so long ago in the New Testament about caring for each other and loving one another and treating other people as we want to be treated ourselves. They're still as relevant today as they were when they were written so long ago.
And I'll take that reading from the Gospel of St. Mark. Having made the crossing, Jesus and his disciples
Then we have the maternity unit, which is always a pleasant place to visit. The birth of a baby always brings so much pleasure to a family. It's not so busy as these very big units, they get more of a personal service really here, hopefully, than they do in the bigger units. I've chosen the hymn Callan Lan, which is a very familiar Welsh hymn, partly because I feel we're very indebted to the Welsh nation for so many lovely hymns and hymn tunes. The hymn tells it that worldly riches and comforts are trivial compared with having a pure and honest heart. And Callan Lan is a very familiar hymn with the school children who sing it very enthusiastically. Lots of them came up here last Christmas and entertained us all, and we all enjoyed it very much. And they add such a lot to our church services, and they're always a pleasant sign of hope in the future.
But your father said that.
You're right. What my father says is I'm as stubborn as an ox. But the reason is, I know what's important to me.